with Derek Mitchell.
Well, get over here, dude.
Well, they're all.
Are you mad?
All right, we good.
Hold on, let me get my. Where's my phone at? Oh, it's dang it.
Marcus, since
What if I get bored?
all right. Okay. Dang, too many.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
I think we're good.
It's recording.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's moving.
If not, we're cooked.
All right, so welcome to another episode of the Sit Down. Today we are with Awakening the Revenant, which I know Marcus, and then I just met Seth Tanner recently. But let's go ahead, before we get into Marcus and Derek lore, let's go ahead and talk about your guys' lore. So how did you guys meet, and how'd you get together, and what's the band look like now? Because it's been, you guys were separated for 10 years. So 15 years ago.
It was a rough divorce.
Yeah. 15 years ago. So technically you guys have been around for 15 years, right? Roughly. Maybe
Probably a little
maybe
longer
more
than
than that.
So, the band has existed in some form since 2006, probably. Because me and my best friend Alex Stone, not related to Marcus Stone.
Shout out Alex.
Yes. We started writing songs and writing riffs, and then
Was he another vocalist?
no, he played guitar. He taught me how to play guitar.
Oh, okay.
And so
He used to be rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
Now he's
Dang,
lead guitar.
Now you're lead. You're stepping it
but
up.
yeah, we just started jamming and writing riffs when we were like 13, 14. And then he just kind of got out of metal. And then in 2007, when you
Yeah,
got
it would
to
have
high
been
school.
2007. Marcus and I were trying to have a band, and we knew Tanner played guitar.
What'd you do at the time?
I was just a vocalist,
Okay.
and then we went to Tanner. We were in marching band together,
You and Marcus was.
and Tanner, yeah.
Oh, and Tanner. Okay.
And we went to him and we were like, we need to play together. That's pretty much how it started. Marcus actually played guitar then because we had a bass player. Shout out Ronnie Copeland.
Shout out Ronnie.
Big love.
He's doing HVAC services now.
He's
Hit
killing
him
it.
up at.
Killing it.
Their boy Ronnie.
Unless you own a commercial store, you cannot hire him. He does commercial.
Sorry, unless you own
Unless
a
you're
commercial
big balling
store.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we pretty much told Tanner, because they already had the band. Tanner, Alex, Ronnie, and Daniel.
And Ronnie was on bass.
Yeah.
And
Ronnie played bass.
and who was what's the other
So and then so Alex played guitar, Tanner played guitar, and Daniel played drums.
guy? Okay.
And I think Alex was just wanting to get out of it at that point, right? He wasn't really interested anymore.
He wasn't really into metal anymore at that
Yeah.
I was
point.
gonna say, did we ever?
And what kind of
do
metal
any-
was
play
it?
anything with Alex?
No,
That's
It
what
was
I
very
thought.
much like
metalcore.
like mid 2000s metalcore.
Like
we were really
all
into
that
like,
remains kind of thing.
Yeah, Trivium,
Yeah.
As I Lay Dying, Killswitch Engage. All those bands were huge influences. I mean, that's kind of like what.
For him.
Well, for everybody
Okay,
who
well,
likes
that was
metal.
a huge influence on your on the
my
vision of
writing.
the band then.
Yes.
And was the name the same when it was just you guys?
No, we started as Through Triumph and
Tragedy.
I think yes. And there on our last album, Reclaim Your Throne, the last song is Through Triumph and
Tyranny.
Tyranny.
Yeah.
So it was a callback to that actually.
Oh,
it's a
okay.
dumb. It's a dumb name, but
Well, we
funny.
were in high school, so
Yeah.
Well, that's why we changed it, really.
yep.
Well,
So when
know.
when you two came into the picture, you guys changed it?
No, we were still through Triumph and Tragedy for a while. When we joined, that's when I think it really became a band, though, because they never had a vocalist or anything, and didn't play any shows or anything.
yeah, they had classic. We had the classic guitar only
Recordings, yeah.
MySpace recordings from.
So
the-
I think like
shout out
soon,
Digitech.
soon after
RP250 baby.
soon after that, I think we played our first show within like a couple months, probably.
Just like
And then I think
Forever.
we recorded like one demo at some guy's house in Westmoreland.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a lot more changes. Daniel left,
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie left, Marcus went to bass.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a couple drummers, a couple guitarists, but
I'll say it's been us since then. So
it's
I
been
think
us three, since then.
so the band really formed probably in 2009. Like that's when we really started kind of taking it seriously, starting to play shows and like actually trying to record stuff.
So you guys were seriously the top the OG three.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, they're founding members functionally. Like it's always been us three, and then we've just had a rotating cast of drummers, and we've tried out so many second guitarists until we finally found the one, and then he moved away and broke our hearts.
Yeah.
So,
Shout out Jason.
Shout out
Jason.
Jason.
Jason, tell everybody where Jason works.
Jason works at Sweetwater for all your gear needs. Hit up Jason
Put him
Baker at
up.
Sweetwater.
Yep.
He will hook you up.
He'll get
Yeah.
you free stuff.
let's not say that.
Yeah, not free.
Yeah, not for
Just kidding.
But Jason's still involved. Like,
Yeah, a lot of the riffs on this last album are Jason's.
right,
riffs.
like,
Oh, really?
because
you guys went.
He's also really good at soloing.
well, no,
so the last album, I guess we'll move on to the next phase. So we
Yeah. Keep with the lore. Yeah.
so we did the first EP with the Procreated.
That's 6 songs.
Yeah, that's the 6th song, the short one, and we were tracking that. I was still in high school. I think they were definitely still in high
yeah.
school.
I mean, we were tracking it. We tracked it all. I mean, it was released in 2012 too, like right at the end. We tracked it all like summer of 2012.
I thought we tracked it like there was like a big winter break that we had.
no, it was like it came out in 2011. I'm pretty sure.
I might be
Oh yeah,
thinking
you're
Reclaim.
right. No, yeah, we did it 2011 because I know. Remember, we had a hard time getting it back from CJ,
Right.
And we were worried because Trent said ATR 2011, and we wanted to make it sure it came out in 2011. So
Yes.
yeah, it was 2011.
So all those songs were written probably when I was definitely still in high school. I'm sure I wrote some of those when I was a freshman, when I was 14 or 15, definitely. And then that came out, and I mean, we just, we played as much as we could then and kept writing. We started writing right after, and we did Reclaim Your Throne, which is probably our first good proper album. Like we really at that point knew what we were doing, and like we'd played a lot of shows, and we had kind of found our sound somewhat. And then 2015, my daughter was born, and I go off to law school, and so that's in 17 was the last show, and it wasn't manageable at that point.
Are we gonna mention our despised icon phase?
Oh, with Harrison, yeah.
Shout out Harrison.
Shout out Harrison Burroughs.
Yep.
We had 2 vocalists. All of the Reclaim Your Throne album has 2 vocalists on it.
Yeah, that was
me and
that was-
Harrison.
That was fun. That was not fun to
we
mix.
knew him
but
for a long time, like from we were kids. He was in a lot of bands, but that was awesome. He's a fantastic vocalist,
Right, incredible.
and he brought a lot of like really cool stuff. Like that album, honestly, I think instrumentally and vocally was way too much. We did a lot.
Yeah.
Very like complicated, intricate stuff. It took forever to get that stuff.
Well,
done.
you were able to because Marcus mixed and
Exactly.
mastered everything,
Yeah.
recorded everything.
Well, I mixed it. We sent it off to Will Putney to make it sound
Shout out Will Putney.
20% better.
20%.
Hey, can I show you something real quick?
Yeah, you can show us something real quick.
Shout out to my wife.
Yeah, shout out Annie. Shout out Winnie the Pooh.
It's fine. It's fine. The magic of editing.
Shout out Winnie the Pooh.
Nah, we'll leave it in.
He literally told me.
People love Winnie the Pooh.
We just we just bought some Winnie the Pooh stuff. It's like
Seth
today.
wasn't screaming, so I just assumed you weren't recording, but I was hyped because I was like, I gotta show Seth.
That's so cute.
Did you buy the same stuff though?
No, but like we went to Kohl's today, and there was like a couple Winnie
Shout
the
out
Pooh
to
things.
Coles.
Shout out Seth.
Oh
having
yeah,
a baby
for sure.
soon.
Shout out
Wait,
Kohl's.
should we
Kohl's
say that?
rules.
Well, I just
Yeah,
wanted to-
baby Edward's coming in September this year.
I was
So
going to say, I thought
yeah.
you didn't have any kids yet.
yeah, we got one coming.
I was like, I just want to show you, even though I'm gonna put it in your present whenever you have a baby shower.
So cute. Thank you.
I think
We're leaving all that in.
Yeah, we'll leave
don't
it in.
cut it.
It's okay. It's personable.
Sure.
We're
What were we
people
saying?
here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can be big rock stars like you guys, but still have lives. you know?
Yeah, yeah. Make time for the little people like wives.
Yeah, like wives. I hear that.
But yeah, Marcus, thank God, like he did all that stuff.
But
'Cause-
how did Marcus start, and why did you start?
Well, he did.
Marcus?
He tracked all of the Procreated too.
Yep.
He didn't mix and master it.
Yeah, I
but
was
he
bad
tracked
at
it all.
back then.
But tracking, you kind of got onto
I mean,
it.
yeah, we just did DI guitars, programmed the drums, and I had I had a cracked copy of Superior. And yeah, you had the 7B.
Yeah,
and
I had this mic. I bought this mic to do
we
it.
had the old crusty Focusrite interface that was Firewire. I don't even know if you know what that connection type is, but
I vaguely do
Yeah.
because my Focusrite
so
doesn't use it.
that's how old I am. But yeah, that's all you really need, and then just
Yeah, so we only ever. I mean, we did that demo at that guy in Westmoreland's house.
And it came back like ass.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was
okay.
fine. It's just
kids.
Yeah, for like a demo, it was fine.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they actually, I didn't go. They went down to what was that studio's name?
The Collins Career Center place?
No, the place in Tennessee,
Oh, the Sound Layer.
the Sound Layer.
yeah, that was fun.
And
Pretty notable engineer.
Yeah, he had done like some early Whitechapel demos.
Oh, cool,
He did a Different Breed of Killer. If you ever heard of them, Huge
Oh, dude,
inspiration.
shout out Different Breed of Killer.
One probably
Everybody should listen to a
I'll
Different
say-
Breed of Killer.
Where's that
the-
album at?
the
20 years later.
The band, it's a band called A Different Breed of Killer. They did 2 albums basically, and that was kind of it, like 20 years apart pretty much. But that was the first like deathcore band I got into really. Between them and then Whitechapel's This Is Exile, and that and
Yeah,
that's
we
what
were all
really
kind of pretty
super
fond of
into
them.
that. And that's what kind of changed us from like the more metalcore-y stuff into what we ended up being, which is like very early, was obviously deathcore stuff, and that was a huge. Those two albums are huge. A Different Breed of Killer, I Colossus still holds up today.
That album's
really,
incredible.
Really good album. It's worth listening to.
And we also were in the perfect time for deathcore.
Yeah.
Like just when it really was blowing up.
Well, that's around the time that you guys were playing. We started our death metal band,
Nice.
and I don't know how we never crossed paths really.
yeah.
Where did you live at that time? Were you in Wayne? Yeah.
We were all out in Wayne.
Out Wayne.
We were out in Wayne. Yeah.
Out Wayne death metal.
Out Wayne death metal. That's what it was, really. Yeah. But yeah, that was the time. That's actually funny that you mentioned that, because at the time I remember. Oh yeah, there was a lot of death metal bands. Heavy bands, and then after that, I don't feel like there was anything. But then when you talk to like Nate, and he's 5 or 6 years older than us or something around that. I guess before
Shout out Nate.
Yeah, shout out Nate. Huntington
Yeah,
Music
shout out
Collective.
Huntington Music Collective.
Yeah, I'll be interviewing them June 2nd.
Very cool.
so,
Ooh.
yeah. But I guess it was super big, a lot of hardcore stuff right before the death
Oh yeah.
metal
Oh
came
God,
around.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was like
And I didn't know any, being out Wayne, I didn't know anything about
Yeah.
that stuff.
The Huntington scene used to be awesome.
Well,
Yes.
that's I always
And
thought
it's
it was
getting
awesome
there
then,
again now,
yeah.
too.
And now it seems to be popping off.
Yeah.
Um,
This is what it used to be like.
yeah. Well, see, that's kind of crazy.
That's the point. That's the goal.
And I don't know. I think it's not just hardcore music, but like Nate's the HMC thing is kind of bringing a lot of artists
yeah.
out. My cousin started another country band.
Cool.
I'll
Nice.
be interviewing him soon. He recorded down in Nashville, I think, way back in the day when he was like 16 or something.
That's the money.
That's the perfect place for country.
Yeah, I don't know where that album is. I think he's hit.
probably on a hard drive somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
Hopefully
really
it's on
good
a hard drive
bands,
somewhere.
like a lot of new bands starting around here, and then the old bands coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I mean, Bad Terms. Shout out Bad Terms.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's an OG Huntington
Yeah.
band.
so,
Yeah, if you don't know them, you ain't. Are we allowed to cuss on this?
fuck yeah.
If you don't know them, you ain't stuff. I'll keep it PG.
So you had a kid.
Right.
That's law school.
And so it just, I was living up in Dayton, Ohio. And so it was just like, we were playing like very sporadically. And it's like, at this point, what the heck?
What are you hanging on to?
Right. And so then, I come back. It's what, 2021? Or no, it was coming up. I can't remember
Was
the
it
exact.
pre or post pandemic?
Post-pandemic.
Are we allowed to talk about that on here? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it came from China. I mean, I don't care what anybody says.
But what
I heard
happened
someone's like,
is we were talking about doing a 10-year like anniversary show from Reclaim Your Throne because we were coming up on 10 years.
Okay.
And then one thing led to another, and it's like, well, shit, let's just reform the band because what had happened is in kind of between where we were slowing down, Jason, our other guitarist, and I, we're just hanging out, and we'd written probably skeletons of like 3 to 4 songs. And then I've always just been writing. And so after we did Reclaim Your Throne, I had like 4 or 5 songs that were mostly finished. And so once we started like talking about, redoing the band, it's like, well, I've got this pile of songs. And so I just started cutting and slicing and editing and, kind of fixing those up and getting them ready. And and the goal was, and I was really pushing for this to Marcus's chagrin, I really wanted to get the album out on the 10th year anniversary because I thought it'd be super cool.
Yeah,
Which we did.
And we did. We made it happen with like
I remember
6
him
weeks to
complaining.
spare.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was not. Well, shout out. Who did we do it through? Not DistroKid.
Yeah, I think it was just
No.
No, you guys did do something else because I argued with
Was it
Marcus
CD
a bunch.
Baby?
Maybe
Probably.
maybe.
Yeah,
Because I wanted
we
him to
didn't
use DistroKid.
Well, but they were.
It's
It's
dude.
dicey. It's tricky. All of them.
I just want to pay
like
you money.
DistroKid.
You hold it on your server forever.
Well,
And
we're
that's
getting off track here.
Right.
That's yes.
Well,
but
we could talk about the ins and outs.
We really
it's
wanted-
everything music.
Yeah.
here,
But no,
you know.
I
They
really
might be in some
wanted it.
doo-doo.
I really wanted it done, and so it was a ton of work because, I had to get the songs ready, and we started in November. I mean, that's when we really decided. It's like, all right, let's do this. And so from November until we finished it, July?
Yeah.
So we
Something like that.
pretty much wrote, tracked, edited, did all that. In
Wait, real quick. Did
8
you
months.
and Jason physically write them in the same room, or were you just?
Yeah.
some of them, yeah.
No, I went to
because we've never done that before.
right. No,
Like
Well,
me
no
and
one else has ever written before other than Tanner,
Yeah.
so there was no need to do that.
Me and you have never like written a song together, like in the same room.
It's
just kinda-
different with basses.
Just kind of sad, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just always been
Like, do you not like me or?
I mean, I like you fine. You're just hard to
Okay.
get a hold of. But
This is true.
no, I mean, it's always has been like, right. I would just,
Guitar Pro it.
I would sit there with Guitar Pro and I'd
Shout
look
out
at
Guitar
riffs.
Pro. Shout out
Guitar
Dropbox.
Pro. Love
Yep.
Guitar Pro.
But no, I would sit there in Guitar Pro and I'd write them myself and tab them out, and then I'd upload it, and then he would go in and make changes, and he would listen to it and be like, "Want me to do some of this?" And that's always been the process, and that's what we're still doing.
Pretty much.
But yeah, for a little bit there, Jason, I would just drive to his house, and he had the the full setup, and so we'd sit down with our guitars and be like, "Hey man, this is cool," and like I've got this riff, and then we'd smash them together. And so I think it's funny the way it worked out on Recreate. The first 4 songs are songs that I had written, like prior to when we broke up, and then the back half of the album is stuff that he and I had worked on together. And so it's kind of funny. It just we didn't intentionally do that. It's just kind of how the flow of the album came out. No, because some of those riffs, like some of the better riffs, like Jason wrote, like for sure, like his handprints are all over that album.
Yeah, Jason, incredible guitarist.
Super.
Like, unbelievable.
He is the shredder. Like,
and
he
I will
shreds.
like shout out his like solo EP he did. What's that
super
called?
cool. He's done 2. I can't remember.
The first one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's on Spotify.
I think it starts with an R.
It's sick.
Yeah, we'll
Reinvent
put it
or-
in the
Yes,
we'll
for
hit
sure.
it up on the description of this or whatever.
But you know,
Pop it
Jason
in
didn't
there.
come along till late in our career, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But he's definitely like an OG member too.
Well, and like he's still like we sent him stuff. He did the reamps for the
Yeah.
album. Like he's
He's like
our Nolly is how we call it. It's like Nolly
Yeah.
from Periphery.
Oh,
where
yeah.
he like
yeah, Nolly lives over in.
he's in the UK,
UK,
but he
yeah.
still like produces a lot of their stuff. I still think he tracks their drums. And it's we tried out a lot of second guitarists. Like we tried out so many. And it's just hard.
He was an easy fit.
right. I mean, it's just hard to because we've all been
he
friends
fits
for
our
so
personality too.
long. Right.
Like we all like Stone Cold. Like
we've all been
Dead
friends for so
inside,
long.
yeah.
We all get along super well. And so to bring in another guitarist, like because they have to gel with both my playing and like how we play and how I write. And so
And they got to be a good hang. The
Yeah,
good hang
they
is
gotta
such an
be-
important part.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't stand the freaking guy, then
Yeah,
right.
I'm not going to drive around with hours for you. No.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
surprised I lasted this
Especially
long.
if you were going to. We'll just stay quiet on that. Especially if you're going to be touring and stuff. I mean, shoot fire. I mean, I don't plan, even if, because me and my guitar players have been talking about, getting another thing going, but it's like, none of us plan on touring really.
Yeah.
Maybe
At this point,
if it
yeah,
was
that's over for us too.
Yeah, too old. We've all have, some of us have kids and, that kind of thing.
it's just so expensive too. Like,
Yeah,
you would lose
you're
so
losing
much money.
Well, that's the
You-
kind of
you'd
the
just
fucked up thing about it is when you're young, you have all the time and no money.
Yeah.
Now we all have money, but we don't have any time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to do it, but there's just no way. It's not
It would just
feasible
be
at all.
I would like to feel it.
exhausting,
I would
too.
just like to do it once with like a legit van, sleeping in a van.
I bet once is enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once is enough.
Yeah.
Just to experience what the real life road.
I mean, we did like some like weekend runs where we'd play like a couple back to back, but
I
never
think if-
more than like a week.
Yeah, well, I think a weekend, like a 2-day, 3-day kind of thing, maybe a 4-day thing where you do 2 shows a night or something. That would probably be all right. You could get by with that.
And
if
you
it's local, you're not losing too much money. Hopefully, you can.
Wait,
come
where
back.
are you going that's doing 2 shows a night?
I don't know, dude. Maybe there's 2 venues right next to each other.
It's a
I mean,
lot.
some people talk about doing 2 shows a day.
I'm not a baseball player. I'm not doing 2 games.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah. So, so you guys decided to do the new album. How do you think it's different than or I guess only part of it's probably different, huh?
I would say Jason's influence makes it a lot different
Yeah.
because when he came along before Reclaim Your Throne, I don't think he wrote anything on that album, did he? Except for solos.
Yeah, that was all
Because that was all
pre-written.
pre-written before he came along. And his solos are killer. And that's a big part of the sound on Reclaim Your Throne too. But this album's way different because Tanner definitely, we joke with him all the time. He cannot write anything but Awakening the Revenant music.
Yeah.
He just can't do it. The riffs are in him. So
Yeah.
you can tell if it's a Tanner song and you can tell if it's a Jason song.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
To us, we can,
Yeah.
But it definitely makes a huge difference sound-wise. I mean, the second half of that album is so different than anything else we've done.
Like one of the songs, the whole first half, the last one, Blood Rust, the whole first half is all in like a triplet. It's like a 6/8 basically. And I never would have done that, but he and I were just sitting around, and I think he had the first riff, and then we just built it from there. And so I think, most of those songs we had kind of gotten like a couple chunks of them together, and then once we started doing it, I just expanded them from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a lot of like the core of them, he and I had written together, and that was definitely weird for me because I'd never done it.
Yeah.
I've always just kind of written by myself, just hunkered over my computer, with my guitar.
That's how I do it.
Yeah.
That's how I write my solo stuff.
And even still now, that's what I do. Like I just set it up in the DAW, and then I record it, and then I'll send it off to them, and we'll start tinkering from there.
So
I think
Marcus,
I think in a lot of ways that's probably faster for us anyway than getting together and going through it all.
That's the problem. Yeah, we've talked about me and my guys, like we've tried over the past couple of years to send stuff back and forth, but it's like back in the day we hung out in a garage and we wrote together.
I feel like you had to do that. Like nowadays with internet and cloud services, like it's just so easy to be like, hey, or like you'll send like stuff from your phone, like of you jamming on a riff, like from your phone.
Yeah, that's cool too.
Yeah.
Just like dry guitar and like, no amplification, anything.
Yeah.
Just a riff
okay.
while he's sitting in his living room.
Yeah.
Nope, do that all the time.
Yeah,
When it
see, well,
strikes.
that's my thing. I'm like, well, plus, if my buddy sends me something, I'm like, he'll send me a video of him playing it or whatever. I'm like, dude, this is cool. And back in the day, I would just copy exactly what he was doing, but
On bass.
on bass.
Yeah.
But that's because half of that was because I'd only played bass for a year before he forced me to join his death metal band, and then it was like, hey, copy what we do. So that's what I did,
I mean, that's the easiest
That's what
thing.
and
most
it,
bands do.
and it worked. There was only maybe one.
I mean, there's a lot of really big bands still doing that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you're good.
the only time that I ever didn't do exactly what they were doing was if they were tremolo picking. I just half timed it. And on this one intro, I did like these open notes and made it made the whole atmosphere sound awesome. What, Marcus?
Nothing. I'm just chilling.
Say
Just
it.
happy to be here.
Say it with your
He wants
chest.
he wants to talk shit.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
Talk
he
shit,
does.
Marcus.
What do you want to say, Marcus?
What type of picking?
If they were tremolo picking.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Tremolo.
Tremolo.
That's just how he's accenting the E.
Yeah, it's fine either way.
Close enough.
Everybody knows what I'm talking
All
about.
the letters are there.
Words
It's
are
fine.
made up.
It's a dumb word, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I
Well, you're
think
the word. What does it mean? What does that word mean? Just if you
tremolo.
Yeah.
I don't know
You
what it
just
means
Googled
actually
it.
because if
Give it a
if you
Goog. Look it
Google
up.
it, no, I think if you Google it and it means something else in a different.
Well, I mean, usually a
language.
tremolo, like on a guitar, is what you use to raise the pitch in the bridge, and
Yeah.
then there's tremolo effects on a pedal that kind of make the sound warble.
Well,
in
it's like
and
a
out of
ball.
pitch.
And then
I think
tremolo
there's
picking
tremolo
makes
picking.
and that
So-
doesn't add up at all though.
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
Terrible naming. Change it.
It's probably
Yeah.
just one of those things
And well,
that have been
and-
used.
And if you use it in Guitar Pro, I think there's two different options to make it tremolo.
Oh, I don't
pick,
like that
and then There's a
feature.
different thing too.
I don't like. Just write out the notes. Just put.
Also, I like when I'm tabbing, I'll hit the tremolo button because I do too. It looks a lot neater.
Yeah,
like on the
it
tab.
looks neater. Yes,
It looks way better.
That's
and
what I like.
I think it sounds better. I don't know if there's something in the way Guitar Pro handles it. It sounds more natural
It
when you
sounds
hit the
I
tremolo
think so
picking
too.
button.
Yeah,
So-
half of
It's probably got like an
programming-
articulation thing.
Yeah, half of
Totally.
putting it in Guitar Pro is just figuring out what makes it sound good with the strumming, soft strum, this how long are the strums. Especially if you got a strumming song, it's like hell to do it. So I'll just dun 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 dun, But if it sounds good on Guitar Pro, it's going to sound
Oh yeah.
badass
If it
live.
bangs on Guitar Pro, it's gonna bang
Freaking
in-
live, dude.
on
But
the computer.
the part about being a bass player and tabbing it all out, let's say, if you sent Marcus something, then the bass player has all the time in the world to see, oh, these are the notes he's playing. This is the kind of chord he's playing, because you can just copy, highlight it, and then it'll pop out the chord that it is. And you're like, oh, I could play this note instead of this note and make it this whole different thing.
And then on the note of bass, I do want to, because I mean, Marcus he's an
Phenomenal.
incredible writer. I mean, he's a great player. Like he rips. He's better than me at instruments, which is fine. We'll live with. I know you definitely.
He's way better than me. Than
Yes.
I mean,
at
at
playing
bass, but not. I suck at guitar.
well at our respective instruments. You are a better
Okay.
bass player than I am guitar player. I would say.
oh,
really?
thank you.
But his writing. I mean, he's a
I could be-
huge between the Barry to me guy, and Dan
Yeah.
Briggs is always doing really cool stuff. And I think, I'll write the song and I'll have something in my head, and I'll do like a real basic bass where I just copy exactly what I'm doing, and then Marcus gets it and comes up with cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like super cool. And I think like a huge part of our sound is what he does.
Yeah.
Like contrasts to my stuff. Because
I
he
was gonna
doesn't just
say,
follow
like, how,
along.
Yeah, how does that change the sounds, the songs, like the feel of them, Marcus? Like, do you go into it thinking they're kind of going with this, but I think it'd be cool if I did this kind of bass thing? Or
Well, I feel like I mostly piggyback off the drums, like depending on what the drum part is.
what
Which
if
is
the drums
kinda,
aren't there yet?
say what?
always do
That's
drums.
a good, yeah, that's a thing that I don't know. It could change based off that. Like if it's a slower part, I might be more like sustained notes, but if it's like a more syncopated part, I might just be playing the same thing that he's playing. So it just kind of depends on the part.
Yeah.
So,
And then I will specifically like think about, like, I'll write a boring guitar part and I'll know that, like, well, I can just do this here and Marcus will make this sound cooler.
that's a terrible idea.
Although we do have to force him into doing cool things sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to,
He doesn't want to shred.
Yeah, I said on Recreate, I was like, yeah, I might just take a back seat on this album and just, do the, and then I was like, there's like 2 bass solos, there's like
His parts are too
some
cool.
tapping crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing, or not tap, there's tapping in there, but a lot of slapping and
Yeah. See, I'm not great at slapping. That slapping thing I posted, literally the only thing.
yeah, big fan of Dan Briggs. Obviously, he's probably like I literally have the same exact bass that he has.
Yeah, you can definitely
shout out
see
Spectre.
You can see the BT Bam influence on his parts for sure.
Yeah,
No, I think
and then
that's
like Victor Wooten, like Marcus
Yeah,
Miller, like all
Love
those.
Victor. I mean, you have to like Victor.
Yeah.
The thumping is just crazy.
Yeah.
No, I think that's like a huge part of our sound is like how his bass like interacts, because our music's like pretty technical and pretty crazy.
That's what I would call it, technical death metal.
And so there isn't a lot of like room at times, and so I'm always amazed at, like, the places he'll find to like do stuff.
Yeah.
Like even in
Yeah, you gotta make it tasteful. It can't just be shredding the whole. I mean, unless that's what you're trying to do. But like for our stuff, like I'm like, oh, this part is more groovy. We just need to chill
Hold the
and
groove there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, even in like some of these like new Slammy songs we have, he'll still come up with cool stuff, and I'm like, oh man, like,
Yeah, it
it's-
makes such a big difference.
yeah, it's
Now-
such a huge difference.
like
when
ear
you go to do
candy.
your vocals, are you like, oh, Marcus is doing this, I'm gonna hang up back
Yeah, for sure.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like to have. I'll try to write stuff to like Tanner's like demos he does, but it's just not the same as when Marcus has his parts in there, which can be a problem because Marcus notoriously will wait to write his parts like a couple days before he records them for the final takes.
yeah.
So sometimes we just don't have his parts until like the album's ready to be mixed,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
But it's more credit to him. He can write that shit and track it all in like in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
I'll say, because like the tracking process, like I tracked all of Recreate just at my house, and like once my kids had gone to bed and I got down to my basement,
That was a learning process.
it was.
He got in trouble.
It probably
How'd
took
you get
me.
in trouble?
I had to take him to engineering court a couple times.
Yeah. Well, you take me there all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, that took me probably for the final. It's probably 6 weeks of like 6 weeks, 2 months or so. And I think he did his in like a
Took me
weekend.
2 days.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I had twice the stuff.
Not
I
to
had
brag.
leads. I had.
Well,
Yeah,
he
this
ain't
is
got,
true,
he
yeah.
ain't got kids though.
And he doesn't have
Yeah.
kids. So in terms
And he
of like
works a 9 to 5. I mean, not 9 to 5. It's whatever.
in terms of like the raw hours, they're probably fairly similar. Because I mean, I just had like an hour and a half at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked that. I mean, it was because I could just sit and take as long as I wanted and do 1,000 takes if I need to, and like really get the feel right.
do you like the recording process like that? I know a lot of people hate recording.
No, because I mean, I do it all the time. Like I love just sitting there and like sculpting the song. And I mean, with all of these songs, they were done. Like we'd had pre-production versions made. Like as soon as we got into like finalized writing wise, I went ahead and like tracked like a demo version with like some basic drums, just so we had something to go off of. So by the time we actually got to the recording, like I'd had them all like locked down, and like so it was just a matter of getting like the playing right. And so I mean, I would rather do it that way than like having to sit here and do it a million times and have to come back like 3 or 4 times
For one part.
Yeah.
Another cool thing is like if you want to add stuff later, it's not as big of a deal. Like you added like some cool noises and stuff that are just like a little effect ear candy stuff.
Like once we'd like heard it a bunch of times, I'd be like, I can do like a little lead here, or throw in like a little,
Little spoopy lead.
little spooky leads.
Sitting
or like,
back and hearing it after you've worked on it for a while and getting some space between you and that version of the song definitely opens it up.
Well, that's such a huge benefit of recording yourselves rather than going somewhere. Because I mean, you book a week at a studio, you get what you get.
Yeah.
You did your tracks, you get it back, mixed and mastered. It's done.
Where you just
Right.
We can listen
have
to
to
shit
pay
for
more to-
a month. Like, I want to change this.
Yeah.
And we did that with guitar parts. We did like he said, he added a bunch of like weird noises, which is a pretty big thing for us that we do.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
weird-
even on the first EP, I was listening. And
you
it
might not
was
even
like,
hear
you
them
guys
all the
have
time, but
a
they're
lot of
there.
stuff. Yeah.
And like for vocals, we'll do, when we tracked vocals, we did one a week because you probably
One
took
song a week?
yeah,
Yep.
because it probably took 3 hours to do one song.
Yeah.
And I hadn't done vocals in 10 years, and my throat was just roached.
Yeah.
I couldn't do. I thought I was gonna because
That's
when
like
we did
unrealistic for any. I couldn't imagine any like metal band.
when we did
recording vocals
Reclaim,
in
we did
one
3 songs,
shot, like,
2 or 3 songs a day.
unless you're an insane person. Or but I mean, yeah.
I couldn't do that now. There's just no way.
Yeah.
So we did one a week, and then by the time we were done, I went back to the first song we did and changed some stuff and updated some stuff because you can listen to them for weeks and
We
weeks.
had like fill-in days basically. Where we
Yeah,
just, like,
it's so much easier
Yeah.
because there's nothing worse than listening to an album you worked for a year on and you're like, oh, I don't like that,
one
and then it's
little part.
done,
Yeah.
and you can't change it then,
Yeah.
and it's a really shitty feeling.
Well, that's the thing with having you guys have so much material out before this last album to where now it's kind of like you guys know what you like and what you don't like. So chasing perfection is a little easier.
Well, that goes back to the core three of us too,
yeah.
and that's why it's hard to add people because we know each other so well. If I think a part Tanner wrote sucks, I'm just going to tell him like that sucks. It's not good. It needs to go away.
He'll cry
And no one's
about
going
to
to get hurt about it. Like no one's going to.
Tanner.
Well, I was gonna say no. I want that. Like, I want them to tell me stuff sucks.
Yeah, so do I.
because to me, like, I like all of it because I wrote it. Like,
There's a
it's-
lot of guitarists out there. If you tell them their part sucks, they're going to get mad.
Oh,
Yeah.
And you just don't want to. You don't want to deal with
Are
that.
you going to say it like that, or are you going to say this sounds?
Well, I
more
want to
like,
be able to say it sucks though. I want to be able
Yeah.
to say that. I don't want to.
have the ability to say
Yeah,
it.
we're all
without-
pretty transparent about
Yeah.
that. It's like,
And,
like
like-
if something's whack, like we can all either all agree on it or we can convince the other person if two of us are like, nah.
We've gotten really
yeah,
lucky that our three egos get along.
Yeah.
We don't really have any problems with that.
Yeah.
No, because I mean, like, I know we drive Marcus insane when just this last week he sent us. We're like, come on, Marcus, show us the sample. And he
Yeah.
sent us to it. And we're both like, oh man, that guitar tone. And I'm like, Marcus, I know it's 5% done, okay, but we got to say it. We have to tell you. And he doesn't care. He takes it in good stride. But now
He gets a little
Yeah,
grumpy
he was
sometimes.
like, I want more HM2, and then Seth was like, actually, we should tone it down a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, see, that's the cool. Marcus. Okay, so I have to get to where the point I'm getting at now. I have to go back. So the first time we ever recorded anything way back in the day, we went to this dude's house out close to Huntington High, and we recorded, I don't know, 6 songs in one day, and yeah, and
That sounds like a nightmare.
well, and then
how short were they? 1 minute each?
Well, some of our songs were like a minute long back
Okay,
then. Some
fair
of them,
enough.
like it was rare that we had a 3-minute long song. We were on the opposite end of you guys with music. You guys were doing 5-minute elaborate things. We were doing punch you in the face, melt your face off in 2 minutes tops kind of thing, you know. And then we got that back, and they sounded like complete ass.
Mm-hmm.
You had to blast your radio just to hear a little bit of it because it would not come through. Like,
What year? What year was this roughly?
Roughly 2012-ish, 13, 11, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Should have had Marcus do it.
Tech wasn't. I mean, I feel like technology back then was.
He had a whole
getting
setup.
there.
Whole setup. Drums were mic'd and everything.
Yeah.
The bass player was actually a really, really good bass player. He's super tall, had long fingers. But I don't know. I cannot remember the band he played in. But he was really good, and I felt intimidated anytime he was around because I still sucked ass. I mean, I still suck ass. I just suck less ass at that, you know. And then when I got into the Army, I was doing more. I got Reaper for the first time. And I don't think I ever recorded anything to put it out or anything. And I lost that laptop broke, so I lost everything anyways. And then finally, when I met Marcus for the first time, which we can go through our lore in here in a little bit, you know, he taught me a lot more about recording and stuff. And I finally recorded. You know what? Now I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about.
You recorded something.
Anyways, I recorded that my EP. Oh, and then when I sent it to Marcus, he was super cool about sending it back and be like, "Hey, I could change any of this. You know, tell me if something sucks. Blah 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 blah." And you know, and it was the first time I worked with somebody. You know, so it was like having a legit producer, and I let him do all the drums on it. So it was super cool to see what somebody else could hear my song as and change it to work on that. And he knows the kind of bands I like. So it was like almost a double whammy with, you know, he made the songs better. So I could put good songs out. He would make them perfect. And that's what I'm chasing next time. You know, I'm trying to get it better and better.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at is like me putting stuff out. I'm not trying to chase perfect right now. I'm trying to chase better than last
Well,
time.
and we like are probably outliers in this. Or the first EP we put out was like professionally mixed and mastered. We never really released
Still
anything that
sounds
sounded
great.
bad.
Yeah, I know. I listened to that and I was like, dude, they
I mean,
never had a time where nothing
It's
sounded
like
good.
super scoop, super harsh, but in like a good way.
And I'll do it. I'll give a shout out to CJ. But
it sounds great.
I mean,
Still.
crazy motherfucker,
Yeah.
and not a great guy, but he could really make an album sound good.
Yeah.
And I think one thing is, like he was saying, with Ego as a guitar player, you know, like all these songs, you know, like I said, I love them. And so I've had to learn, and this is something especially like with Recreate, as we started going through it, Like I wanted them to add stuff because it made it better. Like I didn't want to like try to nitpick when Marcus would want to change something. I'd be like, I had to like fight my urge to be like, no, don't do that. It's already great. But I mean, it was better for it.
Yeah.
And,
Well, and plus you get to you get so used to the way it is.
right.
You
And so-
can't hear what it could be.
And then like when Seth did vocals, some of the songs like just came alive. I was like, oh man, this is so not what I was expecting, and it turned out great. Like parts where he would do more than I was thinking would be there, and like the I guess it's the first like full song, Grave Marker. The intro of that when I first heard it, I was like, oh man, this is so cool. Like he just did such cool stuff to it. And so that's such a like letting your ego go and because we are a band at the end of the day. Like whether I write the songs or not, we all like wrote them together essentially.
Yeah, it's like you start the skeleton and then we like flesh it out.
And so
you add the flesh.
right. And so that's something that like I've had to let go, but it's like it's to the band's benefit for sure. Same thing with like writing with Jason. Like it was, to add someone else's perspective in, like it made it way better.
Yeah.
Just flat out. And so no, definitely like letting go of that ego is like huge. Cause like if someone says something sucks, like I'm glad. Like I don't like it now when I send them a song, they're like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Should I change something? Like, should I change the end here?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? Are you sure? Are you guys super sure it's good this way?
Well, it's honestly, when Eric sends me something, every time I'm like, dude, this is fucking awesome. Actually, he sent me a riff the other day, and I was like, dude, this. Sometimes he'll send me a riff, I'm like, dude, this is next level. And I'm like, hang on to this. I'm like, let's just send this to a drummer and be like, hey, play something to this and let's jam, just to get something going again. But, it's hard to.
Oh, it's the never-ending battle. Is finding a drummer.
Yeah, so
Drummer's rough.
yeah, let's talk about drummers for a minute. So, how's the writing drum parts or recording drum parts changed from when you guys first got together to now?
So the Procreated was programmed drums, and our first drummer back then programmed.
Yeah,
them.
he wrote them. We actually had a drummer write those.
Yeah.
But we didn't track them or anything.
And then the next album, Reclaim Your Throne, we did track those live. Our drummer Tyler Bunting at the time.
Shout out Tyler.
Yep, great drummer, killer drummer. He did those. We went to Eric Hain in Domicile, I guess it's still Domicile Studios in
think
Cross
so.
Lanes. And we tracked those there, and then Marcus did the editing and the mixing and mastering. And then for Recreate, we had talked with some people about it, but where I was so insistent on the time frame, I was like, I want this done. And to add in live drums would have been so much more work. But I've been playing drums for a couple years, but drums to me are my favorite part of like death metal and tech death and all that. Like I want to write music that has blast beats. Like that's the goal. Like I want blast beats. And so, I just wrote all the drums for Recreate. And like we were talking about earlier, I would just sit there and like listen to the guitar, and I would sit there and air drum and be like, all right, what would I do if I was playing this? And then I just wrote those out. And so, yeah, because I think the drums really like make it. Like you could change the drums, it's totally different. So
Yes.
the drums
Yeah.
are huge.
100%. Get
Huge.
different drummer, different vibe, change the whole song. Yeah.
So
Well, that was a problem about finding a drummer too. And I completely understand all of their opinions on this. Everyone we talked to, they wanted to rewrite the drums how they would play them,
yeah.
even if they didn't want to track them. Be like, let me rewrite them. Like we just didn't
Which is
have,
understandable.
No, it totally is.
Totally.
And this
totally
is like
understandable.
this is a thing about us and not about them wanting to do that. But we were so deep into it, like
Right.
we were just not taking the time to do that.
Yeah.
So, we'd been we just asking every drummer we knew, basically. Like, hey, you want to hop on? By then, it'd taken so long, like, the album was done. Like, I'd already tracked finals. We were doing the vocals at that point. And, like, we'd gotten, like, test tones back. Like, Jason had been sending us the reamps. And so, like, it was, like, finished, essentially. And it was like, we don't really want to push this back. And so that's why we ended up doing the program drums. And they
Yeah.
sounded great. The program, it's so good these days. And,
Yeah.
like, Marcus went in there and made them all humanized and everything.
Yeah.
Now, I do that now, but I think I wrote all those drums in Guitar Pro, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's how I do the Guitar Pro drums. Then I'll take the MIDI over to Easy Drummer or whatever and do it that way. I like writing drums in Easy Drummer or in Guitar Pro first. Even if it's not going to change, or I'll put it over in Easy Drummer. And then I'll go in and add special things.
See, I was that way for a long time, and Marcus always telling me, just doing the DAW.
I know, that's what he tells me.
Well, I finally did, and it is way better.
Yeah.
I will say. It is way better. It's way faster. Once I got the hang of it.
Did you change any of the? Well, the reason that it sucks is because Reaper is not ideal for MIDI editing, in my opinion.
It's fine for me.
Do you change the defaults, or do you just do it? Like, did you change any of the anything in Reaper to edit MIDI differently?
I made it the diamonds.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
you
that's
gotta do
just
the
And
diamonds.
I changed the diamonds. I think I changed like how the grid lines appear.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
and I added some shortcuts. I added the thing where you can hold a certain key and then drag, and it'll just
Okay.
fill it up.
Fill it up. I need
And
that
so-
shortcut.
Yeah, it's just not well for me at least. It's not set up to like I'd have to do a lot of tinkering with the settings in Reaper
well, that's a
specifically.
good thing about Reaper.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Before we get into the UI of DAWs, I just want to give a shout out to the rest of our drummers because we've
have
had some
many.
really good drummers.
Some really
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Shout 'em all
Tyler, shout out for
Shout out.
Reclaim Your Throne, and I think it was a couple years with him.
Oh yeah, we played a bunch of shows with Tyler.
He's probably the longest one we had.
I think Braxton probably was,
Meh,
but
maybe.
next
I
Chris
don't know.
Spalding,
Yep.
like incredible drummer.
Hell of a drummer.
He did.
He liked
a-
BT Bam too.
Yeah, he did a video, and anyone who listens between the Barry and me, like those drum parts are pretty wild. He did a one take of the whole album,
Wow.
And cover
the
colors.
whole
Yeah.
album.
Yeah,
in
straight
one
through.
take.
and
That's
it's pretty
bananas.
crazy. So he's very, very good.
Yeah.
He was with us a few years. He was just like a live guy though. We weren't doing any writing or recording at that time. And then Braxton Thompson, are still good friends with him. He was our drummer for probably the longest, but he had just so much going on. He was in a couple bands. He loves
Drummers
fishing.
usually.
and
yeah.
he's in Bad Terms. Shout out Bad Terms.
Yeah,
again.
shout out Bad Terms again. He plays bass in Bad Terms.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. I think that'd be
Josh
it.
McDonald. We
Yeah,
played
Josh
Josh.
McDonald. Yeah.
He was pretty early on, heck of a drummer. First guy I'd ever heard do heel toe, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Oh, yeah,
it was
heel toe,
incredible.
yeah, yeah.
Like, cause he had the crazy feet, and that was the first time I'd seen that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like,
And we got him through Harrison.
Yep.
They were in bands together.
So, on the next, do you guys, well,
We got like 2 more albums written. We got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are you going to do about drummers on this next stuff?
I
Are
mean,
you
if
just gonna
we-
write everything, or are you going to try to find somebody, or is it going to hold up progress, or
We've been looking on.
we got stuff in the works.
Yeah,
I
we,
mean, I just like having drummer friends because I'm learning drums, and so I know there's a handful of guys that we've been in discussions with just for like to get live shows done, and then if time would allow, I mean, I would prefer to have a drummer do it just because, they're write cooler stuff than me.
yeah?
Now, for all these new songs, I do have drums written because I just to record it. I don't want to record it just
Yeah.
straight click. So generally, like the way I'll write a song is I'll come up with the riffs and then I'll lay those down to a click, and then as soon as I'm done with that, I'll do drums. And then
Yeah.
sometimes I'll do the drums like as I'm going.
Yeah.
To hear them.
Like a basic drum thing.
Yeah, just
that's what
something
I
to
do.
track
Just
to.
something to feel the groove when I go to record it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's weird. I mean, unless I just know what I'm going to do on guitar already, it's kind of weird to do it just to a straight click track.
Yeah.
Now,
I
I'll do
agree.
that. I mean, I do that a lot if I'm like, I think I've got, like the other day I wrote this song because Marcus wanted something at 140 beats per minute. I was like, okay, 140. So I set the metronome and I just did the whole song in like an hour. I just cranked it out. And then the next day at work while I was chilling, I just wrote the drums then. And that song turned out pretty cool. But
Yeah. Cool.
Is
That's
that
the
ju-
that's the first song he's ever written that wasn't like an ATR song.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were flabbergasted.
It was actually it
Google
did shock me.
that.
So in this new stuff, then it's going to be sound a little different than.
It all sounds different.
Yeah, it's,
I mean, we have a lot of different sounds coming.
Yeah.
yeah, we got there's a yeah in there somewhere.
Yeah. We were
Like,
actually
literally.
we were talking about doing like a side project. But then we were like, well, fucking, it's just going to be us anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So we're just going to release it as ATR.
Yeah,
and it's
why
going to sound
change it?
completely different, but it's
Who cares?
whatever.
Yeah.
well,
We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, we
it's
gotta-
such a hassle setting up like a different Spotify and getting a
yeah,
new band
it is a hassle.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, to me, like, I've always just made the kind of music that I want to listen to. Like, I mean, that's really, we've discussed like what genre we are, and like at the end of the day, like I'm not sure how much it matters. Like, it's just,
yeah, exactly.
it's just the stuff that like I want to hear. Like, this is the
Yeah.
kind of music I want to listen to. And some of these new songs, Seth actually wrote, like most of them. Like he would tab
On
them
guitar.
out. Yeah, he tabbed them out and wrote them, and I was like, well, this is pretty
And that's
dope.
the stuff I like to listen to.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's a whole different,
And it's
like,
very,
we do not listen to the same kind of music normally.
yeah.
it's very like slammy, and
yeah.
death metal-y.
Yeah.
That's death metal is like what I listen to only, basically.
Yeah.
I listen to some slam stuff too, but the slam stuff I listen to more is more like Devourment and Disgorge and Suffocation, like old school, like slam death metal.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
See, I'm introducing Marcus into dad rock stuff. He's like,
Dad rock rules.
He's so ignorant about like.
Brother,
It
dad
sounds
rock music.
great.
I mean, you
Not-
like Creed?
Yeah,
Creed is so good.
And
Creed
some
and
of the-
Nickelback.
with
Dude,
arms
they're so
wide
good.
A
open.
great fucking band.
Yeah, they are.
And they've always been mixed and mastered.
Like if you took
Perfect.
I was going to say, like, some of those Nickelback albums sound incredible.
if you
Yeah,
took the
and
vo-
the
And
bass is
dude,
awesome.
They have
All
some
of it.
heavy ass riffs.
yeah,
too.
if you
Yeah,
took the
dude.
vocals out, not
Oh,
saying
yeah.
the vocals are bad, but if you took the vocals out, that'd be a heavy song.
Yeah, dude.
like,
Yeah, I like Dad rock a lot.
Yeah, me
but
too.
like it's great.
Yeah.
I don't care.
But
yeah,
like-
I mean, I pretty much only listen to death metal.
yeah,
Tanner listens to mostly like tech deathcore type stuff, like bands like Fallujah and stuff like that.
I listen to a lot, like Dying Fetus, Cattle Decap.
Yeah.
And
Those
I
are classic bands.
Of course.
and I listen
Tons
to
of that.
99% EDM.
Yeah. So it's all
Yeah,
it's
I
all
don't
pretty
listen to
different.
metal.
Well, you know, Korn's singer doesn't
No, I'm
listen to
kidding.
metal.
I'm sure.
He listens
I
to
can see
EDM.
that.
He's
Yeah.
a huge EDM fan. Isn't
Yeah,
that
like all the
crazy,
stuff
though?
I've written is way different than stuff he's
Yeah.
written. But also, this is like I just started writing songs. I've never really done it
But you
before.
played guitar for a while?
For a while, I've
Yeah,
gotten
he
just
was a-
serious
he was a
about it the
music
last few
major.
years.
Yeah.
Not to brag.
Yeah, not
music
to brag,
major?
I do have a music degree,
So like he knows how notes work.
Yeah.
but I've always played guitar a little bit. But this last like few years, I've gotten really serious into it.
Yeah.
And I started writing these songs. Tanner, he'll clean them up for me because sometimes my transitions suck and I can't figure out where to go.
Yeah.
But I have the riffs. I just can't figure out how to make it all work.
Yeah. The transitions is something I worked on a little bit more on this last EP that I got Marcus working on, is because it's like I could either just do an open note for a couple bars and then go into it.
That's the easy way to
That's
do it.
the easy way. But how many songs am I going to do that on? You know?
Well, and see, my thing with transitions is that's for the drums, is how I see that. Like a lot
Honestly, the drums can do the transitions just fine.
I mean, generally, it's how I is like.
Well, I
the
also
drums
can't write drums. That's the
Yeah.
problem. I have no idea. Like, it's all foreign to me.
because like a lot of the songs he would send would have like a little like 1 measure, 2 measure transition, and I'll be like, nope, and just cut that right out.
Cut out
and
and
then just
And it works a lot better. Yeah.
a drum fill at the end of that
Yeah.
riff and then call
The,
it a
you
day.
do a
yeah.
drum fill to kind of tidy it up, and then they either drop out or do something else if like you're transitioning into a riff. And I mean, transitions are always the hardest to figure out. Like, you're
Even
going
if
from
two
part
riffs
to
go
part.
together, yeah.
Right? Because do you want to have some kind of separation to like make sure, like, all right, you want to hear how this, like, what this part's going to do, or like lead into a breakdown? Like, do you want to just get right into it, or do you want to have like build up? I mean, that is always kind of hard. But no, I mean, I think a lot of that is just in the drums because
I
the
feel like
drums
the-
pulse it.
I feel like
Yeah.
the production elements that we add.
Yeah. That was one thing that
Like-
surprised me when Marcus did my EP. It was like, oh, this production actually makes this hit so much harder.
Right? All the
Yeah.
little samples and weird little sounds that'll throw in there.
Yeah.
We got a ghost.
Got a ghost. So Marcus, tell us about how you got started with mixing and mastering and how you got good at it. Full disclosure,
sneak
Marcus
ones, right?
mixes all my
Yeah.
stuff and it sounds fucking epic.
Marcus is a wizard.
If-
Yeah. Any
anybody-
band out there, go to Marcus.
Yeah, go
Shout
to
out
Marcus.
me.
You are not going to pay for anybody nearly remotely close to here that's going to sound better than Marcus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I'll
I'll put my pinky on that.
I'm the Walmart of mixing and mastering engineers.
He puts everybody else out of business.
How
is what
did
he's
you
saying.
did you just get into it for like because we needed it? I mean, is that why you just thought it was cool?
I think
Well, me and Marcus used to fuck around on Audacity all the
Yeah.
time. Like in middle school.
yeah.
So he'd been doing like DOS stuff, but nothing, it was Audacity, so nothing serious.
Yeah,
obviously.
we had a dumb side project that is still on a hard drive somewhere. Surprisingly, that
Shout out to
will-
Birds.
That will never shout out Minika. That will never see the light of day. But yeah, just dabbled in that because we were stupid kids and just had to have fun. But I think most of it came from when we went to go record with all these people. Like they weren't coming out sounding very. I was like, I could do that. This is not hard. He's just doing stuff on a computer, and then I downloaded Reaper like every other person in the world does when they're first starting out recording music, and had no clue how to use it at first because I started in Audacity, which is like a joke. Although shout out Audacity because
It's useful.
If it weren't for them,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here.
Well, and plus
But-
too, like back then, like like YouTube was just starting. Like
Yeah.
you didn't.
It wasn't
Like
like
now
how it
it's so
is
easy,
now.
Yeah.
right? Like now it's so easy to just go like how to record and watch a video. But back then, like it was the Sneak. Was it the Sneak forum? Is that where
Yep.
you were? Yeah. It
Shout
was,
out Andy Sneap,
Yeah, it was.
What's the
this-
Reaper guy's name? Jenny.
Oh, I don't know.
Kenny Joya.
Yeah,
Oh
Kenny
yeah,
Joya.
like he
Yeah,
was just
shout out
starting out.
Kenny.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that did not exist. I've downloaded Reaper back in version 2 or 3. I think it was 3.
Dang.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for all that stuff,
they're
we
on
just-
like 7 now.
I think we just kind of like figured it out as you went. Like in terms of like me trying to figure out guitar tones, there would like be like a couple of like niche like heavy guitar forms that I'd go to and be like, how do I make it sound like this? And
Yeah.
like that's how I learned.
I was going to ask you
I still
about
do
that.
that.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I get
Also, a lot.
Suffocation's Effigy of the Forgotten
I was
Tone?
like, how do I get Nickelback's guitar?
Sure.
For real. They have great tone.
Yeah, a lot of the Sneap forum that was
It's a diesel,
definitely
by
a
the
big
way.
thing.
They use a lot of diesels.
I think
Nickelback.
people still post on it. Like you can still access all the posts on there. Like there's some gems on there. Like shout out Jeff Dunn, shout out CJ, shout out Olaw. He was on there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
big shout
Yeah,
out.
he was a
Um,
huge guy on there.
Yeah. Just a lot of good info. People would like basically post mixes and be like, "Hey, what would you fix or whatever," and just giving like feedback, which was really cool.
That is cool, yeah.
But just learned by messing around. Got into different DAWs here. Like I have every single DAW known to man, pretty much, except for like Pro Tools, which
that's a subscription
sucks.
base, right?
Super expensive.
Yeah,
It's-
how the fuck? This is stupid.
Because you work in Nashville and you can pay for it.
But yeah, it's mostly just experimentation.
Why
I
even
learned a
use
lot
it,
from CJ. Like he taught me a lot of tricks, and a lot of it's just experimentation and referencing and just doing it over and over again. And
yeah.
yeah.
I think it's either Mastodon or Meshuggah that they've went and said that they only use one DAW because that's how they get their sound. And I forget which band it was and what DAW it is, but Eric would know because he's the one that told me about it. And then I went and looked it up.
Probably Mastodon because they're like into weird stuff like that.
Yeah, but
Weird
does that play a role?
Sorta. Yeah, the workflow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only ever
Well,
used
I think
Reverb.
like recording Recreate, he went through 3 different DAWs,
Probably.
like just like
Always
trying them
jumping
out.
around.
Yeah.
He'll text me one day and be like, "Dude, Reaper's so cool," and the next day he's like, "It didn't
Yeah,
work for
exactly.
this, so I'm switching."
Yeah, they all kind of suck in their own ways, but they all have. Pro Tools is the worst. I don't understand why people still use Pro Tools. Like,
It's just like an industry standard, I think. Like
Well,
if you
when
show
I
up,
that's the only.
When
reason
I
it's still
see
on
Pro
it.
Tools, I'm always like, "Dude, this is so outdated."
I tried to
looking."
use it. I was like, oh, let me see what it's about, and then like I was like, I can't figure out. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Like
to me,
all-
Reaper looks the best, but you can change the themes. So
Yeah,
I've got a theme that I like
Mhm.
that is easy for me to work with,
Mhm.
and I recognize all the icons and everything. I'm cool with that. I don't need anything.
lots of shortcuts.
Yeah.
Run the
My,
shortcuts.
my issue with Reaper is like I am too nerdy with it, and I'll like
You'll dive into the shortcuts too much.
yeah, like I'll
Plus, you
try to
get to, like-
customize it too much. I'm like, I just want to do stuff in it, and plus, like some of the things that it does, like you can't change, and it's not. I don't like it, so
Because Marcus would be like, I came up with the script. And I'll get like deep into the source code, and I'm like, man, I'm not doing that. That's
Yeah.
too much.
that's
Too
way
much work.
Just get something that you can work. Well, for your, mix. You're not trying to mix and master or anything. Neither am I. So it's just like record it and send it to Marcus and let him do whatever he wants.
I mean, I'll do like basic stuff just so when I listen to it, it doesn't sound terrible. but
Yeah, like a basic
nowhere
level
near,
mix.
right?
Yeah.
like nowhere
Fun-
near what he's doing.
yeah. Fundamentally, they all do the same thing. Like you can automate in pretty much every DAW. You can change the volume. You can add plugins. Like some just are a little. It's just a workflow thing, honestly.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all it is.
So how's your vocals changed from the beginning to now? And
One note. You have more than one note.
Yeah, I used to just be only did one. Well, that's a good point. Going back on like how they learned how to mix, how Tanner learned how to get tone. I learned how to scream from a Melissa Cross DVD.
right.
Like,
Shout out
like
Melissa
that
Cross.
shit
Shout
wasn't on.
out.
Yeah, it wasn't on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I literally, and I love Cannibal Corpse. I wanted to sound like Corpse Grinder,
Yeah.
and that's the note I got, and I stuck with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do a lot of different sounds now. I don't really get big on like Will Ramos is a great vocalist. I don't give a fuck about those weird noises.
It's cool.
I don't care about them. I just want I want good vocals that are powerful. I don't want the goblin noises and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't care about it. I don't like that's the direction stuff's going.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so many good bands right now, like Frozen Soul, Sanguisugabog, whatever the fuck.
I think you said it right. Sanguisugabog.
Is that how you say
I
it?
think.
200 Stab Wounds.
Peeling
like,
Flesh.
Yeah, Peeling. Like those new bands are so sick and they're simple and heavy. They're not doing the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I want to do. Like we have some weird noises for vocals on the latest album,
Yeah.
but it's just like for flourishes. It's not.
Ryan Travis is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Travis Ryan.
Travis Ryan.
From Cattle Decap.
He's the goat. And
He makes a lot of weird noises, but
Yeah.
it's like
The-
tasteful.
The king of weird noises. for
yeah, but
sure.
he does them musically, which makes a big difference.
Yeah.
If you're just like trying to screech all the time, it's not important. It's not standing out.
It's whatever fits the song.
Like his melodic singing, screaming stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
I love him a lot.
No, he's a.
He's a huge influence.
he's like a top
for me.
tier death metal vocalist, like insane.
But yeah, like Corpse Grinder was my guy.
Yeah.
So I wanted to sound like that. And that's pretty much the only note I had. And then Harrison, when he came on board, I learned a lot of stuff from him too.
He was already.
Yeah,
Because he
he-
was really into the weird noises.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like he liked that stuff.
And he's probably 5 or 6 years older than us.
You all
if not
compl-
more.
I feel like you all complimented each other well because he had like
For
these, like
sure.
shrieky highs and like
Because he did a lot of fry screams.
Yeah.
And like, we'd never done any of that.
Mm-mm.
And then I think he figured out how to do it. And then I was like, well, I'm going to try that. And so now I think all my highs I fry scream now. It's just easier to get it out.
I can't do.
I do 10 seconds of hardcore vocals on every album.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I would say just like the changes in my vocals are basically just on they're based on the changes of the times. Like
Yeah.
now there's YouTube videos like, hey, here's how you make this sound.
Yeah.
And it's good to have like in your toolbox. I'm not gonna do it all the time,
Yeah.
but I just want.
But you're able to do that
Yeah.
because of that, probably because of that Melissa Cross CD.
Yeah, I mean, it was a
Really?
good foundation.
Really?
But,
Wasn't that mainly to just keep yourself from hurting your vocal cords?
Well, it
or
just
was
teaches you how to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
How to do it and like how not to destroy your throat for
Yeah.
sure.
I think probably my favorite vocalist ever is Trevor Sternad from Black Dahlia.
R.I.P.
Oh, okay.
And like
Yeah.
he's the GOAT. And he just had a great high and a great low.
Mhm.
He didn't need all that weird shit.
No, he didn't do like hardly even mids really.
No,
Like, it was all
he
just
barely layered anything either. It was just like pure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love him.
I do like layering my heavy stuff just because it makes it sound.
I mean, he did them every once in a while, but it was
Deeper.
basically, I mean, probably 80% of their songs are he's doing highs,
Just him.
and then he'll do some lows, and they sound sick.
You ever thought about doing any cleans or anything?
Used to.
yes, that was always a point of contention. The clean.
Tanner
That was our
just thought
ulti-
he was like a cool guy in a boy band and wanted to sing for all the ladies.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of what I listened to, like when I was writing that stuff,
Bieber core.
but I mean, it was just
That's what
like
Drew
we were
calls it.
more like experimental, I guess. Like we had like a clean section in a song, and like Marcus is going crazy on the bass, and so I thought it was all sort of like lean more progressive in ways. And like now we've shifted to just straight heavy, straight technical. But I kind of thought that was, I mean,
Yeah,
it was
you were
something
into
that fit, I
like
thought.
you were into like the Plot and You. They kind of did stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
like there was
Or-
a lot of like heavier bands that would incorporate that, and like I thought it was cool back then.
I never really cared for it that much,
Sure.
but
And they,
you know,
I still
same.
dig it. I still
Yeah.
dig it. You got to do it tastefully though.
Well,
for
that's
sure.
like, the Whitechapel albums that nobody likes.
I like those.
I love
I think they're
those.
great.
yeah, I
Those
didn't
are
like
the
them.
albums that got me really listening to them.
But their new stuff that came out.
Your stuff's
I still
Is
haven't jammed it
better.
yet,
Oh,
really.
you need
the
to.
new
That's
stuff, I
okay.
know.
Really
It's probably
good.
the
I've been
heaviest stuff
waiting.
they've ever done.
I'm slow to listen to new stuff that
Oh,
comes
it's so
out.
good. So
I'm
heavy.
like, let me just listen to my same, 10
But no, once
songs.
we started on Recreate, they were both like no cleans. I was like, that's cool, that's fine.
Yeah,
Like,
we
I've
had-
done
we-
that.
Well, there
We
really
did
wasn't
that.
even room for them.
No, it
you
wouldn't
know,
have fit. It would not have made sense. In
We
this
had
stuff
like
at all.
legit choruses and stuff in songs before.
Oh,
A
okay.
couple. Like a couple.
mean,
yeah.
Like just pop songs in the middle of a metal song,
Yeah.
which is fine. I mean, there's band. I think that's more popular now. Honestly, people are starting to do that a lot
Yeah.
more now.
Yeah, well, honestly, I don't listen to a lot of radio music, but listening to like the rock station or whatever in town, I'm like, is this what the kids are listening to? Because it's almost like they're going heavy, but then they've got these clean singing things. But like the songs to me just sound like they're just trying to be today's radio dad rock kind of music, and it doesn't sound good at all. I'm like, if I was a kid, like my first real Nickelback song was "How You Remind Me" because I had an hour bus ride to
This
school.
is how you remind me of who I really am. It's not like you to say sorry.
They
I
jumped in,
don't
so
know
we
the
gotta
words
do
to the part. Okay.
And an hour bus ride back, that song would play 10 times on the way
Right,
there and on the way
right.
back, and you could sing along. It got you into it. And today, I was thinking like, I would not be into this if I was listening to it on the school bus, So I don't know what what the next phase of music's going to sound like, but I hope it's
One thing I have noticed, because my daughter's 9, so she's into like radio pop, and a lot of the songs it's just like a one big chorus. Like there's no like verse, chorus, verse, chorus. It's all just kind of like a loop basically.
yeah.
And then they just do the chorus over, and then they'll do like one other like not chorus part. And I'm always find that very strange.
And the story, is there a story to it at all? The story will hook me.
I don't pay attention to the
Well,
lyrics.
if it's all choruses, then it's not.
And to be honest, I have never paid attention to lyrics. That has never been a thing.
That's a,
I kind of do, depending on the band, but 90%
really
of the
into
time I
lyrics.
Me
don't.
too.
another reason I love Trevor. Like,
He's a
Black
great
Dahlia's
writer.
lyrics are incredible. I mean, he tells like a full story every song. I can't really get into a band if it's just like nonsense.
Yeah. Well, honestly, that's what kept me away from Metallica for so long when I was real young. Because I was like, hush, little baby, don't say a word.
Yeah, it pisses me off.
I thought, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. I just thought, man, these lyrics are so cringy. Me and an adult now, I actually like a lot of those songs a lot more.
I used to hate on Metallica, but they're amazing.
They
all
are.
the riffs on those
Like-
first 3 albums, so good.
Oh, James
So
Hetfield
good.
is
They're
Yeah,
really
one of the best
good.
guitarists ever.
Yeah. And then, or like Megadeth, I thought the same thing about them, kind of, hello, me, meet the real me, which I always thought I did a good impression, but
That is pretty good.
yeah,
He's
hello,
got-
me.
he's got-
Marcus, do you know that
Nah,
Dang,
I never
dude.
really
Dave
got
Mustaine?
into
Shout
them.
Dave
I know.
Yeah,
Like,
you should listen to that part. It's the beginning of "Hello, me, meet the real me."
It's probably a funny isolated
game
vocal.
Dude, it's straight up in the song. You know, it's not even isolated. It's like part of the fucking song. He's like talking to himself. Dude, you see what I'm saying? How are you so metal, but like
He
the
doesn't listen to any of
forefathers?
it.
You
He doesn't
don't
listen to
have.
metal at all.
You don't have Black Sabbath under your belt, or
I mean, like,
I don't fuck with
AC/DC.
Sabbath either. Actually,
What?
Yeah,
No, I don't
there's
care.
Cool stuff. Yeah, but it's not. I pretty much exclusively only listen to metal. Like I don't listen to anything. I think he listens to more non-metal stuff than I do.
yeah.
I listen to a lot of death metal, but I also love like Chapel Roan
Right.
and Olivia Rodrigo. I
Okay.
love that shit.
I don't
yeah.
even know who that is.
I listen to a lot of country and stuff. Honestly,
I like country too.
Yeah.
Like
the storytelling, '90s country, and the storytelling in the early
Keith Whitley.
2000s.
Keith Whitley is the country goat.
Mm-hmm.
I like Tyler Childers a lot. Coulter Wall.
great.
So you're
Yeah,
talking new
he's great.
stuff. I don't really listen to Tyler that much.
Well, he has like an old vibe.
Yeah, he has the old vibe.
It's like
That's
folk.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
I like country a lot.
Benjamin Todd. You know Benji?
yes, I
Dude,
love Benjamin Todd.
I will howl at the moon every
Yeah.
night of my life and cry. Listen,
But
to
it's
him.
mostly metal. But if I need a break from it, it's honestly usually like pop girls.
Yeah.
I really like that music.
Well,
It's
honestly,
so catchy.
what's that? What's that new girl? Gorilla. I think that's her name.
Glorilla, yeah, she rules. She's awesome.
My DJ popped him up, and my wife loves all that kind of nasty stuff, music wise.
I love that. It's hilarious.
So it came on, and I was in the gym. And I was like, dude, this is great. So it's in my like
Yeah, it's
songs.
good.
The beats go so hard.
That girl for sure. I need to get more into her music because it sounded so different than like your Cardi B kind of.
Yeah, it's so stupid, but it's like entertaining. Like,
Yeah, it's so great.
I think probably like a top 5 band for me is the Wonder Years, though.
Oh yeah, that's.
And, like,
I don't think
yeah.
I know them.
Almost
Oh,
the
you need
complete
to.
opposite of metal. It's
Yeah.
very emotional, sensitive pop punk music.
Okay,
Yeah.
But every
I
album
like
is
emotional,
perfect.
sensitive stuff. You know,
You talk about
I'm
a
here for it.
discography.
Yeah,
You're in for a wild ride listening to all their music.
So
Yeah.
they're a Desert Island band for me for sure.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
incredible.
Because
really.
It's like
no, just because like if I was going to be on a desert island, we have 5 bands I can take. They'd be one of them solely because big discography and like it's all great. It's all really good. It's all like
They
different.
have no stinkers.
yeah,
Yeah.
not a single
Well,
album.
that's how it is with Crossfade. They have no standards.
Absolutely.
Dude,
in my
praise.
opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish
Yes,
they get back
Crossfade,
together.
another very heavy,
Strangely
rock band.
heavy rock band.
Super
Yeah.
heavy. They play 7
Cocaine.
strings.
Yeah,
Cocaine is a great song from them.
I mean, Cold is the best song maybe ever written.
Yeah, well, that's
I love that song.
That's the song that always tricks me into thinking I can sing because when that other guy comes in and says
He's the man.
I can hit the tone with him and I can feel the vibration. We're matching
Yeah,
up.
but you can't match his vibe.
Yeah,
though.
I can't match the vibe.
You need a
No
cool
way.
hat.
But
You need a
they're-
cooler hat.
Really
who's
good.
Crossfade? I've heard of them.
Dude, brother, bro.
It's
I
just-
never
it's a
meant
rock
to
band.
be
Sing me a-
so cold.
You've heard Cold a million times.
We have played it for you many times. Absolutely.
It was heavy in the
Is it
rotation.
butt rock?
Dear
No.
cocaine,
It's just
I'm
kinda like
not
heavy rock.
your
Yeah, it's like heavy alt rock.
whore anymore.
And that dude
It's a good-
rips. That dude's a
I've
great
heard the name. I
guitarist.
just don't know any of their
Dude,
songs.
they're
He's a
great.
killer guitarist.
They're great. I don't know. I think the singer does church music now,
Nice.
but I wish
They're still a
they would get
band.
back
They're
together.
doing like a. I think they're playing this weekend at like Sonic Temple.
No
actually.
way.
I'm pretty
dude.
sure. I'm pretty.
They've
sure.
been on hiatus for like
Ever.
20 years or something.
Yeah, no, I think they're playing like this weekend.
They have no bad songs.
No, they rule.
I mean, Nickelback I'd probably put as my number 1, and I would say Nickelback has bad songs. Crossfade has no bad
Well,
songs.
if you have as many songs as they do, you're going to have some bad ones.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like Sunday Afternoon. What's that song? We're talking about just like smoking weed in the backyard.
What's our worst
Like
song?
what a dumb song.
I was about to
worst
ask, what
song.
songs do you guys hate of your own? I know mine. I know the ones I hate.
There's some that are like weirder, I guess. That
I think like the most cringiest one.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's such a. We've written so much, like you said. I'm probably nothing from the latest.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are doing full-length albums. That's
Right.
not just, people putting out singles nowadays,
No, it's got to be something from the Procreate.
Yeah, no, it has. For me, it has to be something from Reclaim.
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
probably say that too.
I don't know what it'd be
I
though.
don't know because I like most of those songs. I'm trying to go back through.
You
them.
guys don't miss, is what you're saying.
Oh no, we can.
I mean,
I'm
there's
sure we miss, but
What's the
There's elements of all of them that
what's
like,
the song?
aren't
What's
as
the
good.
first song?
Probably Reckoning might be the weakest of that, but I still like that song.
it's a heavy ass
There's
song.
an intro
though.
song that has like
Yeah,
a
but that's
date.
just-
I can't remember the date.
0761, something like that.
Yeah.
On the second album?
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't that just a
It's not a
bunch of like
song.
weird
Yeah.
songs?
It's just it's just something.
I
he
was
cooked
going to
up.
ask about that because who did the sounds on that? Was that you?
That's all Marcus. He mixed
No,
it.
that was a sample from
Allegedly.
the Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, allegedly.
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
the guy's like burning on the
Yes.
stake or whatever.
Allegedly,
Like the
yeah.
weird guy in the wheelchair
You can
that's
sample.
like
That's
this.
very
It just
useful.
sounded cool.
You can use samples. That's very
You
useful.
did that, and I was like, oh, that part alone is one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
I'm into the weird stuff.
Yeah.
we got that from. I kind of got that from CJ because like we had like I in the Procreated. I think I made. We took that Ted Bundy sample.
Yeah.
And I like added some crap to it, and then I just was like, "Hey, here's this. Do
And CJ
whatever
added
with
a
it."
lot
And
of
he
shit
just
to
like completely
cool.
changed it, and it
Yeah.
sounded like insane, like you were about to get your head sawed off or something, which kind of what we were going for back then. But
I would say Overthrow. Now that I think about it,
That's fine.
I like that one.
probably my
I
least
like it.
favorite.
It's got some cool riffs in the middle there, but I can see that in terms of the weakest.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite then? You said you
Of
had
my
some.
stuff.
Oh,
No,
they
of
said-
our
I thought you
stuff.
said of our stuff.
Oh,
You had
not
some.
your stuff.
Okay.
I don't. To be honest, I'm not familiar with all your songs enough to say, hey, this is. I really don't listen to that much death metal, honestly.
That's fair. I mean,
one of my
it's-
tops is
particular.
Your Demise, surprisingly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
a
love
banger.
We need to bring
Yep.
that back. That was
That's a good
Conqueror.
one.
Conqueror is also very good.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, all those songs are pretty cool in like their own way. Like I
good
was
riffs.
pretty good at the riffing back then. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
could still play them all.
A lot of fast picking.
A lot of fast. Some of those, I kind of wonder. Like, I don't know how I did it because like some of them are now.
My
Some of
parts
the,
don't work that hard. I could do it.
like some of the stuff on like Procreated and Reclaim Your Throne. I was just better guitar than I think in ways at certain things because I'm
Yeah.
like now I'm like man I can't believe I tracked that clean. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Well, we edited it really tight too. So
Marcus.
allegedly,
So what made you want to switch to bass? Because you knew you were a shitty
He'd
guitar
always
I
player.
was way better at it.
Yeah, he
Always?
always.
Yeah,
played
yeah.
bass.
Yeah, we just
That's
didn't
what
need
I-
a bass player,
Yeah.
but he wanted to be because
In the
Alex
band.
left, so he
I
wanted
was
to be
like,
in
I
the
guess
band.
I'll play guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what? That's the opposite of what happens.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Usually.
it's normally like I guess I'll
Well,
play
Marcus
bass.
is pretty just like naturally skilled at stringed instruments. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't have trouble with music.
Yeah. So how'd you get into bass or wanted to play bass?
Probably between the Buried and Me. Like I saw the music video for Alaska, and I was like,
That's cool.
that he's playing very fast stuff.
That's funny.
That looks fun.
for
Or
me,
like
it
like Victor Wooten, like just
Yeah.
like the cool bass shred people.
What got me into it was one, Eric was slowly manipulating me into
Mm-hmm.
wanting to play bass. Then I was watching music videos on fuck, what was that called?
Fuse maybe.
No, it was on like on demand.
Mm.
And I was watching the Disturbed song of the night, and in the music video, there's this heavy part, and it's just the bass player,
And he's just
and he's just like, dun, dun, dun. The camera's going with him,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole screen's shaking, and it looks like an earthquake. And on the video, the strings look massive, and I was
Yeah.
like, that's fucking awesome. I'm doing that.
Man, people talk a lot of shit on bass players. Bass is so important.
I mean, a lot of them are not.
I know, but man, like a
good.
good bass player changes everything.
Respectfully.
I would still not say that I'm a good bass player
Nah,
until
bro, you're-
Marcus says I'm good. I'm fucking shit.
Nah, you're just fine.
you're good if you can play
I'm
the stuff
fine.
you want to play.
I'm fine.
Like
That's true. If
Well-
you can play everything you want to play, you're good.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Does this count? I can play the solo to Cannibal Corpse's
they got hard stuff.
Hammer Smash Face.
I don't know if I call
They,
it
they,
solo.
have, they have hard bass parts.
But I can't
Wait,
mute
is it? Are you talking about the lick in the
Yeah, the
beginning?
lick.
Oh, okay.
but I can't mute it to make it sound
Yeah,
great.
that's.
But I can play it.
well, that's the tricky part.
That's
Yeah.
the tricky part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can play a lot of things on guitar, but if I run it through an amp, it's not going to sound very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well, my speed isn't where it was way back in the day because I normally only play with my fingers, and I'm crappy with a pick. So I'm like kind of torn between. Okay, well, what do I do now? I just need to practice.
I
more,
probably got to where I was. I was literally between the Buried and Me, like released all their bass tab books, and I was like, I gotta know how to play these songs. So I would just practice BT Bam songs, which is like
Hard.
top tier. Like like you're
but there. Yeah.
yeah, like you don't mess around if you're trying to play bass on one of those
Yeah.
songs. So shout out Dan Briggs.
I do the same thing though. I buy tab books, like from Sheet Happens.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
That's a great.
Yeah, I
pun.
have like
It
some Revocation tab books, Cannibal Corpse, Aborted, Black Dahlia, and like that's because that's the music I want to play. That's music I like,
Yeah.
and it's hard. That
Yeah.
is really hard music. Like if you want to learn to play that way, you got to play that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the only way to do it.
Yeah, that's like one of the other things though. If I go to learn a bass song for like a strummy guitar or a bass riff for a strummy guitar part, it's like actually it's hard for me to follow along with it. But if I write a guitar part or one of my buddies does and they show me and I write the bass part, maybe I'm writing it in the same way that some other band would do it.
Right.
Then it's so much easier to do it for some reason.
It's yours.
It's mine. Yeah, it's mine. So it's like it's weird. I could do open notes, and then they could do just the root notes too. But me doing it with their song is totally different than.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I need to learn the guitar part first before I do the bass part, which is weird because but I suck at guitar too. I mean, I suck at guitar more than I.
Well,
suck
and
at
I
bass.
think that like how people play like sounds a certain way. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think some people go a little too hard on the tones and the fingers thing, but
I think so too. Some of it's there,
But I think with like picking, especially, like I think I have like a sound because I pick very hard. Like
Yeah.
I've always been a super heavy
right
picker.
hand can change a lot. Yeah,
And so I think that like definitely like a big part of our sound is just how I play, and probably how Marcus plays is just how a big part of like the sound of him, the finger style and
Oh
everything
yeah, that's
he does.
completely different than a pick.
yeah.
yeah.
Marcus is clean.
I actually kind of hate.
Tanner's
that
one
I
of, like,
don't
the
know how to
hardest
play with-
pickers,
I
I
can't
think.
play with a pick for
I've
some
had to back
reason.
off. I've had to learn to not pick.
He
as
picks
hard.
very hard.
Yes.
Yeah. You were saying that you wish you played with a pick?
Kinda like it it arguably sounds better.
No,
I mean, it'd be
Sorry.
clankier.
Sounds better.
Different tones. Yeah.
yeah, they're definitely different tone. Well, actually, it's funny that you say that because like a lot of times I'll go like Nickelback's bass player plays with a pick. I love their bass tone.
Well, for what
Also,
we're
I feel
doing,
like the
especially.
I feel like the context of like our music, it actually kind of works pretty well. But like
Yeah.
for if you're in a pop punk band, like I
gotta
would
play with a
I would be
pick.
playing with a pick.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that would no.
But your parts would be more simpler.
Oh,
Yours
yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, somebody else could go, but like I love Tool.
He uses
plays
a
with
pick, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he uses a pick. I've got the same pick he uses at the house, so that's the only one I play with because I love the tone. Eventually, I will mimic every.
Well,
his
you can
rig.
go down a rabbit hole with picks and tones.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's the other.
Yeah, they-
I've got a bunch of different picks, and
I probably have like 50 different picks.
yeah, and
I've
it
been
does.
through every.
The way you play with them changes.
Yeah.
I think how they feel in your
Yeah,
hand.
y'all got me into the pointy ones. I was like, what is the point? What is the tip have
jazz
to do with
threes?
anything?
Well, see, I use jazz threes forever. Specifically the max grips because
Yeah.
I'm a sweater. And
Yeah.
so when we play live, I had to have that. It's basically like a piece of sandpaper. And that's the
Yeah.
only thing I can hang on to. However, for recording, that Tortex,
that is not
it
a
does
good
not have a
recording
great
pick.
sound. You got to use a Tortex pick, and that's so when I track, I have to use a Tortex. But it doesn't really matter. Like I can do thicker, I can do thinner, I can do bigger, small. It's got to be a pointy tip though, no matter what.
The green one's the best.
The
for
green ones
recording.
do sound the best.
For recording.
The .88. But
Shout
they
out
wear
Tortex.
down almost immediately.
Yeah, no, I
I mean,
chew through
you can
picks.
wear down the point on a .88 Tortex pick in an hour.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like if he doesn't track with those in particular.
I
If
have to
he
use
did,
thicker
he'd
ones.
have to change it every
What difference
30
do you know?
minutes.
Because I've only ever used the rounded ones. What's the difference?
Well, if you lose the
Is it
point,
just
it changes
easier?
the sound completely.
It changes the sound, and then for faster intricate stuff, where if you have the big nubby, it's harder to do string skipping, and it's at least for me with the pointy tip, I can really choke up on it, so there's almost no pick showing.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And so for the faster stuff, it's just I don't have to move my fingers as much.
Well, the pick attack's just different too.
and the attack's different, but so what? Yeah,
recording?
like where we're
I'm gonna check real quick. Also get a drink.
playing, like some of the stuff is so fast. Like I only have so much wiggle room.
Yeah.
like a fast tremolo part and like some of the fast.
But you
like,
can tell a
string
huge
skipping.
difference. Like when between a worn down Dunlop and a new one, it's completely different.
And that's one thing nice about the jazz picks. They don't wear down as much.
Yeah.
And so some of my favorite picks are they're Diodario Black Ices, and they're a little bit bigger than a Jazz 3, but they hold way better. They don't shred because I shred picks.
Yeah. See, I don't choke up on the pick enough, but I'm holding it with 3 fingers sometimes just 2. And I just suck at tremolo picking with that thing.
That is a very specific skill to learn.
Yeah.
Right. You got to sit there and drill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Drill
not
it
many
and drill it.
instances you play that other than death metal.
Well, I feel like bass, it just kind of, I don't know, dude. It's like the bass resists it so much more.
There's a really good video. It might be Ingwe did it. I don't know. But he's going over tremolo picking or just fast picking.
How to do it.
Yeah. And he uses like a credit card in his hand and just flaps it until he gets and then he said, whenever you find the comfortable spot off the guitar, just find a way to replicate your wrist position on the guitar. Because tremolo is all about wrist position.
Yeah.
I can't do it straight. Like I have to lift my wrist up and just let it dangle.
Okay.
He doesn't do it that way.
Yeah.
But I have to. That's just the way I have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely change. Usually when I'm playing, I'm kind of straight on, or I will angle my hand this way somewhat. But for tremolo picking, I'm generally pretty like parallel to the strings, and then I will. Sometimes I'll angle it this way, even just
Yeah.
depending.
See, I gotta
on
have
how
like
I
a
go.
loose
Yeah.
wrist, and it just goes.
See, I don't think that I always like the bass to do the tremolo pick.
Well, Marcus is super lazy. He never plays what
Well,
I'm
I
playing.
want the ability. I just want the option to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
What play fast?
to tremolo pick. So
Gotta
like,
sit down with the metronome.
Yeah.
and just do it.
Well, like, you know, if it's a song, say my guitar player brings in a riff and it's going to be the opening riff and it's just straight from the get-go.
But on bass,
maybe
is that
it
what you're
would-
saying?
Yeah, maybe it would sound better with the bass doing it with it instead of halftime.
I think it probably gets lost in the mix. I mean, unless
Yeah,
unless you have it very loud anyways,
Yeah.
it's probably going to be hard to tell the difference.
Yeah, and plus if the drums are going in there with a blast beat, like how much of the bass just needs to add to the tone,
Right,
which
just
it
fill
can
it
do
in.
with an open note. You know,
Yeah.
that's my
Or
justification
just not
for
as
it.
fast. Like,
Because
Yeah,
I know when
halftime,
I'm
man.
writing stuff in 30-second notes, I know he's not going to play it. But like, I want it to sound that way, so I do it. But like, if he's playing 16th notes, you can't tell.
Yeah.
There's no way. It's going to just
sometimes we
disappear
do
in
the
the
same
mix.
thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's
I think
spots.
in Brain Bleed, there's like one spot where we're mimicking the same. Like I have to use 3 fingers on that one because it's a doozy.
A lot of notes.
Well, that's like I don't think I would probably ever use it really. Probably occasionally, but I just want the option to be there, kind of thing.
It's good to like have the capability to like, if I wanted to do that, I can.
Yeah,
Because
but
like,
if it's not serving the song, that's the thing. It's a total different thing with bass coming into it because you guys are writing the song and we're serving that song. So it's a total different mindset. That's why the bass could come in one riff. You could send one riff to me, one riff to Marcus. I could come up with 3 different bass parts to put onto it. Marcus
And I would come up with only one.
because he's not going to work that hard.
Yeah, he's gonna hit it once, and he's gonna be
Yeah,
good.
but
But it's going to be the one.
It would be the one with Marcus. Mine would be like, okay, so with here, I'm doing a third of, I'm going with a third here to make it sound like this, or a flat fourth or some shit like that. Which I would only be able to do with Guitar Pro and seeing the video. That
I was
you're
gonna say,
doing.
do you know what that stuff means?
I do if we talk about C major.
Oh yeah.
But if you get C major down, if you get the C major scale down,
If you know one, you know them all.
you
though.
know that one,
Yeah.
and then because that one makes more sense. You can just do it in your head. Okay, this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you can just this would be the 5th. So if I do this chord and I move that here, then it's a flat 4th instead of, and maybe I'll do that note, but I'll do it up here to make it more, make it change you can change the whole sound with that, and that's something I didn't do back in the day. But if I ever get into another band, I would like to experiment with changing what the whole song might feel like with that.
We don't do any theory in terms of writing. It's not anything that's ever in front of mind. I don't know if Mark. I don't think you do. Surely you're not worried about theory, right? Like
No,
about
just-
like what scale this is.
If it
like,
sounds
what chord.
good, it is good.
But how are you picking what sounds good? You just listening to it, playing along, and seeing
Yeah.
if it works?
Well, and
Because you
plus-
can kind of like if he's doing like a more chordy thing, and I'm like doing like a walking bass line kind of thing, I can tell when something is fitting into that chord progression
Or if it's
versus
feeling off.
if like a note's weird,
You can feel it. You can
Yeah.
hear it. Yeah, that's the part that you don't. I think that's the part where metal bass players fall short a lot of time because if you are if you're a bass player and you join like a church band or a country band or whatever, you learn the Nashville numbers. It's a lot easier to learn theory that way on the spot because you're jamming riffs. You're playing the 1, the 3, and the 5 or something like that. Oh, and then once you're playing, you're like, you can experiment with
Right, you can
runs
add
and
things.
doing stuff.
and it can especially like in the low end, it could sound real bad if it's not like meshing
Right.
with what
Yeah.
everything else
I
is
mean,
doing.
for our music, theory's not that important. I mean, bands like Decapitated,
right?
like where they have weird jazzy sections and stuff like that, it's going to be more important.
Well,
but-
doesn't Dillinger does a lot of
Yeah, like
crazy.
theory is important for that, for sure.
yeah.
But like for our stuff, I mean, for guitar, metal guitar, you need to know a shape on your hand,
Yeah.
and
You know how to
that's all
chug.
you need.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to know what the scale means.
And
you just
plus-
need to know what the shape is.
Like I've been writing this stuff so long. Like I know vaguely. Like all right, it's a bunch of like harmonic minor most of the time. It's a lot of like
That's,
harmonic.
I have
that's
to
all
think-
metal, yeah.
I have to think about it, but I wouldn't recognize it right off the rip.
And then it's a lot of chromatic. But like I just know that like the tritone, like the classic, like I've just got like various like tricks in my bag. Like I know this is if I want to get something that sounds like this is how I play it.
Yeah, this is the shape I use.
And like I'm constantly just like riffing. Like I asked my wife the other day because I was sitting there jamming. I was like, just curious, how much do you think of what I play when I'm just sitting here is like stuff that is a song versus stuff I'm just coming up with? And she's like, I don't know, half. And I'm like, probably 95% is just stuff I'm just like screwing around with. It's like I'm just riffing. Just
It's so easy
constantly.
just to sit and watch TV and riff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something, then you'll find something. Like, oh, I gotta write that down.
That's what I'll do. I've got the recorder app on my phone, and I'll be like, all right, got to get that down. And I've got like a bank of like 50 riffs right now just stored up for whenever if I want to use them. I can pull them out.
Does it come back to you easy if you just record it on your phone and you're sitting there listening? to
Generally,
it, trying to
if
find
it goes too long or if I do weird stuff, it might be sometimes. There's been a couple times where I'd go back and I'm like, what the heck was I doing there? Especially if it's just a clean guitar with no amp. So now I put an amp in my living room so I can avoid that problem because it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But no, there's been a couple times where I've tried to find them, like dig them out of the riff bank and be like, I don't know how I did that.
Yeah.
But I can get close enough. Like I can figure it out. And I keep all my guitars tuned the same way, so that helps. Because I used to not. I used to have them all in like different tunings.
That's how we typically do it.
But then once we started writing again, I was like, all right, I need these all in the same tuning so that when I do that, I don't have to like then try to transpose it. So I put them all in the same tuning.
What
now.
tuning are you playing in?
So the
Classic deathcore tuning.
we use drop A basically
Classic.
on a
That's
7.
Only tuning you fucking need.
But the thing
It's
is
convenient though, because you basically have like like a 6-string, a
Right.
normal standard 6-string, and then you can power chug on and then he has a freaking 8-string, so we can go double
So
drop E or whatever you want to call it.
right, I write everything with the 8th string in mind, and the 8 it's an E, so it's E A E A, and so it's like I can play power chords on the low E and A,
But it's not E-I-E-I-O.
it's not. And so, I mean that's on. I don't think anything on Reclaim was 8 string, but I started using it after that, and I just pepper it in. And there's a handful of stuff on all of it. I try not to rely on it because it's cool just to add it in.
There was
It's
there was
just
nothing on
absurdly low.
Reclaim that had an 8th string?
I don't think so. I didn't have it then.
Oh, that's true.
I would
Okay.
use it live for certain things
Oh,
because you can just
yeah,
invert
yeah.
chords and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and it'd be cool when it sounds thick.
Yeah.
But I mean, I kind of consider myself like an 8-string player, really.
Really?
Like if I could only have one, I'd want an 8-string.
Oh,
just because I can
I
do
can't
everything.
stand them.
Wow.
They're just
well,
way too big.
Eric
way too
bought
many
an
strings.
8-string when he
But they
was
sound
in
cool.
Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and I think I don't want to speak for him, but I know for a fact he wrote one song on it.
Mhm.
And it was a song called "Disease-Filled Cunt,"
Yeah.
Nice.
and it might have been the most heaviest song
Mhm.
he's ever. But he said, hey, he ended up getting rid of it because he was like, when I pick it up, I only play that heavy, that
Yeah, like
that
Meshuggah.
low,
Well, see,
low, low
and that's
stuff.
that's the way I like the tuning because it's just a regular 7-string and drop A, but then
Yeah.
I have that low E there if I want to use it.
Yeah,
And so
I mean, we don't use it that often. It's more of like a
It's like spice. Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
I don't want to like just be like wah 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 all the time.
yeah.
But it sounds
There's something
really
cool about that too. Like
It's handy.
like Andrew Baina, guitarist on YouTube. His band Carcosa.
Right.
They play
yes, I
like
know who you're talking
they
about.
play some heavy shit, and it
They
sounds
play 8 strings.
yeah. I think they play in drop F.
Oh, okay.
It's very heavy.
which
like
is
it sounds
ridiculous.
cool,
Yeah,
but it's not. You can't really play like intricate music on that.
It's harder.
I mean, it's just the sound. Like it's too muddy.
Hey,
It
speaking
does
of-
sound cool though.
Can we say, hey, let's stop tuning bass guitars to a low F, whatever? What would the note be, Mister?
It's like an F0.
Yeah, that's insane.
I think you
just
can't-
tune the bass up an octave, play with the guitars, it'll
But it
sound
sounds
better.
better with the low F.
No,
Well,
it doesn't. It
That's
sounds
as low
like
as
crap.
you can get though. You can't get any lower
It's-
than like an F sharp.
Nothing's
Well,
discernible
they're-
about it.
The guitars
I mean,
are
it's-
on 8s, and
Right.
they're already dropping it. The bass is supposed to fill that extra tone up. So if they're playing all that low end, 100K,
It
wherever
would
it's
still
at,
have all that sub and energy. If anything,
yeah,
it's
the
just
bass
more.
tone would still fill it out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it's just too muddy.
So you could just stay, like you're saying, and
And I kind of right around that. Like when you for the Meshuggah
Mm-hmm.
song that we did, I was like, I could just write a slap part or a thumping part or whatever.
Because I'm playing bass notes at that point. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
low E
Yeah.
of a bass.
yeah, you
That's
can
what that
change
is.
it up, and and to me that almost makes it. Oh, the guitar can or the bass
Yeah.
can do some chords here or change it
yeah,
up.
let him
and
let him
take-
fill up the low end for a little bit.
and you can get a little.
And we always want
little
Marcus to
dilly,
shine.
dilly,
We had to
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
We have to like pester him to be like, dude, play something cool here. Like, do something
Yeah.
cool here. Like, this is a good spot to do something cool, Marcus.
Yeah,
So we always want him to show off some more because he doesn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in his nature as a bass player.
Bring bass slides back again. I feel
Dude.
like bands don't slide
They
their
don't
bass
slide enough
before the
anymore.
breakdown enough.
on that last EP, I
classic.
had one the breakdown or bridge or whatever you want to call it. It was all slides. Dun, 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 dun.
cool.
Yeah, bass slides are cool.
It was cool.
I think in the new stuff that he's written, there wasn't a lot of 8-string stuff on there, and we kind of talked him into like just use it more because we're stuck using the 8-string live because we need it for some songs.
Yeah.
So just put it in there more. You're gonna need it. You have to use. There's no point in playing a big ass 8-string
Right.
if you're not gonna use the 8-string.
I'm gonna have it. Like my 8-string is like my ATR guitar. Like that's what I'm using. So
yeah.
because I guess it'd be funny to talk about the new stuff because so what happened is we finished Recreate like in earnest probably in July and like got it sent off to the streamers, and then over the span of probably 6 weeks, I cranked out like 10 songs because I don't know why it just hit me, and I just like cranked out, and so now we have like a whole album on deck.
He's a song making machine.
Yeah, we got this whole album ready to go,
And they're all really good. Like,
They're cool. Yeah, I mean, I think it's very. It's not as technical as Recreate probably. Like it's still like us, and it's still pretty technical, but not as much because I think when I wrote Recreate, that's what I was really into, is more like tech deathy stuff, and so. Now I'm listening to a lot more like death metal and more slammy stuff, and so it's kind of gotten away from that. And then in the meantime, Seth also wrote these other songs, and so we've got 2 albums worth of music. And so we're gonna do that stuff that was written after first, because it's more unique, I guess.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do like this, like like an offshoot, basically. Like it would have been a side project, but that's too much work. So
we've got like 5 like slam songs written. We just recorded like before the podcast started. We just recorded vocals for like a single. That we'll be putting out.
Called?
Do we have a name?
What's it called?
We have like the placeholder name is Banana Bread Slam
Banana
because
bread
when
slam.
Marcus went on vacation to Hawaii last year, we were talking about slam bands, and he sent us a picture like from the buffet at the resort, and it was said Banana Bread Slam. Like I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't know what they were doing with banana bread, but I thought that was really
It
funny.
sounds good.
Yeah. So no real name yet.
Yeah.
We do a lot of placeholder names.
Yeah.
Well, then so they've always hated this. I title the songs. It took me a long time until this last stuff. I would title them by the date I started writing them. And so the song would be like June 2nd, 2013 or whatever.
I do that, but I also give it a working title.
So that's what I started doing to make them happy.
So
And
both is good.
It took much
easier to
persuasion.
remember with a working title.
Yeah, for sure.
But see,
Yeah.
it's cool for me because like two of the songs, I know the first 2 songs on the album of Recreate, I started writing them in June and then July of 2013. So like it's cool to know that. Like I wrote
Yeah.
those 12 years ago.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And, like I knew that's the date I started them, and like it's crazy that like 12 years later they're finally out. You know, that's pretty neat. So I've always, even when I write them, still I'll put the date just so I know
Yeah.
for my own sake, because I'm like,
I think it's in the file metadata.
it would be sure, but that's too much work. You know,
go in
got
there
to look
and
into the
dig
properties.
around.
Right, when was this created?
Marcus is trying to get backdoor access.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have that, like, I guess it's going to be like a little slam EP
Yeah.
that we're going to do.
So a slam EP.
And then we have a full length, like, ATR
sleepy
album.
So
And then there's also a lot of, like, death metal songs I've written.
Just random stuff.
That is, it's, like, way different.
have
That's
you guys
more
thought
like
about just
Cannibal Corpse stuff.
They
Yeah.
have like 15
but
albums
with
out.
I love
better,
Cannibal
faster
Corpse, man.
blasting.
Have you guys thought about,
shade.
the kids nowadays are just doing singles?
Well, that's what we do want to just get more stuff out.
Yeah.
And that's why we're going to do the single. And instead of like, I mean, it's cool. And
It's like a little preview.
I
little
really,
taste.
I mean, to me, I still listen to albums. Like when I
too.
want to, like generally, I mean, I'll do just like shuffle a lot, but generally I want to like sit down and then put on the CD and listen to it.
Yes.
Me too. The CD, the actual CD, it sounds different when it goes from song to song.
Right.
And just listening to
Well,
it.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are very different,
give
though.
that to
Like, my wife, shout out my wife, but she did not understand that I listen to an album all the way through.
Right.
Yeah.
She can't fathom why I do that. I'm like, well, they put it this way on purpose.
Yeah.
Right.
They wanted me to hear it this way.
It's part of the art form.
Yeah, I love listening to full albums.
Right. And
yeah.
so I think we're going to still keep doing that, but probably just like release more as we go. Because I mean, we can all self-record. We always have stuff ready to go. And so, I mean, that's why like I've been making more videos and stuff just to show things off, as we go, because that's what I'm going to do for like some of these new songs, just show off like chunks that we think are neat,
Yeah. I was going to ask, what's the goal with the new Instagram page and stuff?
I mean, just
was
like-
Instagram even around back in the day?
World domination.
I don't think it was
I
around
mean, it was,
when we
but
were around.
it wasn't used like it is.
Yeah, we
now.
had Facebook.
It was
and that
literally just
basically
posting
it.
MySpace.
pictures.
Yeah.
Instagram was.
And I mean, I think it's just because we're just not going to play that many shows,
Yeah,
And
Exactly.
we're just behind the times too. Like
Yeah.
we don't really. I didn't have an Instagram account until we
I didn't
decided to
either,
make
yeah.
a band one. I was like, well, I
Okay.
guess I'll make one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't use it. I don't use any of that stuff.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's just to like show the people the music, it's like show how it's played and like
I mean, that's how people consume media. It's like
Right.
shorts, TikTok.
Yeah. I think
Reels.
that gets me to going to ask you, how are you recording that stuff for that? Because to just hook up
With a
turn my-
computer
shut up.
and a guitar.
Well, when I hook up, if I turn my bass on and just hit record on my phone, bass does not translate well like that
Yeah.
at all. You can kind of get by with it on guitar.
Wait,
But
hold
how
on.
are
What do you do again?
I'm just saying, if you hold your phone up, hit record, and then I'm playing
Through
my
the
bass
phone mic.
Yeah.
through the phone mic.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can kind of get by with it with guitar, but
That's
for bass,
nasty work.
Yeah, that's
Plug
nasty
that
work.
sucker up.
I don't do it. I don't do it. I mean, I did it the other day. but I
Marcus,
don't
let's,
know.
let's just skip past that right now.
The
We're good.
only thing a phone
We don't-
microphone is used for is it even sucks for phone conversations.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not the point of this.
But okay, first of all, how are you
it's
doing it?
nasty
And then
work.
we'll ask Marcus how we should do it.
So I would assume the way I do it is how Marcus would recommend is I record the video from my phone. And then I just take that file, cut out the audio, and then simultaneously I record it into my DAW the way I normally record, which is through I have an HX Stomp, and then I split off a clean DI from that. And so then I will just do like a rough mix and then splice it together. So the audio itself is like our stuff, like from a DAW, like the DAW project that I just keep on like handy of our music.
Yeah.
And then I will use like that guitar and I'll put that on the left side, whatever I'm playing, and then just integrate that with the album audio. Because if you do,
Okay.
I mean, like it can sound passable, but no, I mean it's way better to do the audio and the video separately.
And it's not that hard to do, so you might as well do it.
Right.
No, if you already have a DAW set up and
Right.
interface and all that stuff,
It takes
just go
like
ahead and
30
do it.
minutes to do a short video. I mean, it just depends how long. I mean, most of these I can like crank them out pretty quick. Because I mean,
You could probably set up a
play the song
template for
side.
it too, and like
Yeah, I mean, I've just got it ready.
if you have it ready to go, that's the thing.
And I just spit out the time selection, and then I sync them up. I mean, the most time intensive part is probably getting the audio and the video synced.
Yeah.
Because it's where there's so many like that latest one of Brain Bleed I did. There's so many notes in that. Even
Yeah.
if it's off like a millisecond, it just looks wonky.
Yeah.
And so I just had to keep experimenting. Like
That's already a
sliding it.
very hard part to pick anyway.
right.
So
like just like a frame at a time. I would just slide it and be like, all right, which looks more
Yeah.
in line.
How are you editing the video?
I use Caden Live, which is like a free program. I might try. I was talking to Jason today. I might try DaVinci.
DaVinci, I've heard is good.
Reaper can edit videos,
I
right?
tried
That's what I
it, but
do
it
with
didn't,
mine.
It didn't want to. It didn't jive with me. Maybe I should
It's
try
not
it more.
great.
Yeah,
It's not great,
Yeah.
but it gets the job done. And I can't add any more shit to my laptop or it will die.
Yeah.
So that's why I haven't really dove into DaVinci. But DaVinci
I use Final Cut Pro.
Huh?
Final Cut Pro if
With
you're a
Mac,
Mac user.
Yeah, but who likes Mac?
But no, it's fun. Like I've never done any kind of video stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been
Yeah,
like a
I'm
fun
bad-
little
I'm bad
learning
with it,
process.
too. I
Just
have
like
no
getting
clue.
better and like figuring out like what looks good and
You
like
do
how to
just
do it
have
right.
Mess around with it.
Right, just doing it.
That's why I bought that little crappy camera because
Mm-hmm.
it's so much easier for me to just take the memory out of it, put it in my laptop, boom, there it is.
Mhm.
Now I will say to make a Instagram video out of that, I've not figured out the best way to do it yet though. But I haven't tried in a while.
I mean, there's probably like setups that you can do so that it will sync the video with the audio that you're recording, so that it's way easier. But
There
like you
is
just
some
have to buy
that
like
do it
a
automatically, but I'm not
thing
trying
for
to
it.
pick.
I first
until this is buying stuff or I'm breaking even. I'm not trying to.
No,
spend
when I
money
first
on it.
started, I tried to record them like use my phone as a webcam basically, and then record them both simultaneously. And it's just so finicky. It's so much easier just to do it separate and then merge them later.
yeah, just
Yeah.
manually nudge it. You know?
Yeah.
Because it would just like it would have like weird lag issues and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we did for the vocal covers that we would randomly do back in the day.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm getting weird lag stuff right now. Marcus, let's
yes,
talk about our lore. How did Marcus and I meet back in the
At
day?
the UPS store.
Make it sound cooler, dude. But,
At the UPS store,
yeah.
where your printing and shipping needs.
Yeah, but it was clutch for me to meet you because
Mhm.
you really set off my recording process into
Yeah.
the direction it needed to go.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this guy has a beard. This guy has long hair. This guy works out. He plays bass.
And I had to break it to him that I'm not that good at
That's
bass.
about all we had
It's
in
a perfect
common.
fit.
I don't
I
know
mean,
what else we got in common.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot in common.
You
Yeah.
like steak?
Huh?
You like steak?
I like steak.
I like steak.
I'd
Yeah.
rather eat steak than chicken any day
Yep.
of the week.
You like math?
I sure don't.
All right, cut that out.
Jimmy, cut that. But no, that was honestly a pivotal moment in terms of trying to get my own music out there because I was not putting anything out,
Mm-hmm.
and I was getting discouraged about if I'm not putting anything out, why am I even playing still? You
Mhm.
know.
And what did I say? Just bro, just put something out. Who
Just get
cares?
something out? Yeah.
That's something that he has to remind us of this is that like eventually you just gotta say it's done. Like
Yeah.
eventually you just gotta be like, all right, this is good enough. Like because we could, especially where we self-produce, you could sit and tinker and be like, actually, I think that 1.25 kilohertz is just a little bit loud. Like can we
Yeah.
reduce that by half a decibel?
Yeah.
And like at some point you just gotta say it's good enough.
Yeah.
And so that's something that he will definitely be like, all right, nope, it's done. Calling it.
Yeah, we had to
yeah,
tell.
he'll set hard deadlines.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
God bless Tanner, he's doing it for a good reason. But I think Jason had to do our reamps maybe 4 times.
One of them got botched accidentally.
Well, some of
But
them were
yes.
because
Yes.
he would do the reamps, which is a process.
Yeah.
And Tanner's like, oh, actually, I messed that part up.
There's like one little
I need to
squeak in
re-record
here.
that, and then we need to reamp it again.
Yeah.
And Marcus one day was like, no, that's it. We're done with it.
It's like,
we're
it's
not.
good
We're not
enough.
asking Jason to do that again.
Yeah. Well, how have the tones changed over the years?
It's
Have you
always
changed it at all?
Fitty
or-
150.
It's
Yeah.
always been when
5150.
I was old enough to like have a job and I could afford a real amp. I bought a PV 6505 because that's the sound, and it's always I'm a 6505 guy through and through. That's what's on the album. I got it modded by a guy FJA. I think he's out of business now. He like hurt his back, but that. I used that amp all through all our live shows, and then when it came time to record, my buddy Jason has it now, and we were like, we got to use it. And I've got a Mesa 412 and then a Vader 412. It's just IRs on the album. But no, I've always been a 65 guy. Boosted 6505, Mesa 412. You can't go wrong.
What's
I
your
mean,
what's your overdrive of choice?
oh, so many. I think the album was.
I don't even remember what we
I think
used,
you used
honestly.
a JHS
Yes.
Bonsai, which
Yes.
is just a modded tube screamer. I've got a ton of pedals though. Everything now we do is in the box, so it's digital.
Pretty much.
And
Yeah.
I use Helix Native, and then Marcus has some of the neural stuff that he likes.
I mean, the sound is a 6505 boosted with a green max on, though.
Right.
That is
Yeah.
like the best sound there is.
And that's what I ran for years when we were playing live. It was just a boosted 6505, didn't futz around with it. Now we've gotten more into like weird like distortions, and like I've got like a bunch of fuzzes and like other distortion pedals. And so we'll get like real nasty with it.
I feel like the bass tone changed over the years too, because it used to be just straight up clean, because I thought that's what
Clean and clanky.
a bass was supposed to be. And then like I was like, oh cool, if you run a rap pedal through a bass guitar, it sounds amazing. So that's the secret sauce for
Yeah,
ATR basses.
the
The,
tone
rap.
chasing never ends, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always just refining it, like little bit by little bit. But no, I've always been it's just 6505, some variant of that. I mean, that's just my tone. For
And
me.
instrument wise?
I'm not super particular. My main guitars right now, I play a lot of Kiesels. I really like. I got a couple headless Kiesels, and I always thought it was kind of weird. But then I got one, and I was like, oh, this is so much better because they're lighter, because you don't have that headstock, and so it's more balanced. Your left arm doesn't have to hold it up as much. I've been trying to get him on the Kiesels because basses are heavy. And
So I
so,
like it when they're heavy.
and so, no, I mean, like those Kiesels are super light. They play super well. They sound good. I tracked most of the album. I have an Ernie Ball JPX7, which is like a dream guitar for me. I saw.
Dude doesn't even like John Petrucci.
I like him, but I'm not a huge Dream Theater fan. But we
Or,
saw
yeah, Dream Theater.
We played with Volumes in like 2013 in Cross Lanes. And their guitarist, Diego, R.I.P. him, he was a hell of a guitarist. He had this purple, sparkly Ernie Ball. And I was like, man, that's beautiful. And then a guy,
Yeah,
coincidentally,
you like purple.
it was Eric Hain who tracked the drums. He listed it for sale. And I was like, I simply must have this. And so
Yeah.
I like went to his house. and
Wait,
I-
is that same dude's guitar?
Yeah, it was him. It was Eric's guitar because he was funding some like custom build. And so I go to his house and I'm jamming it. And I'm like, yes, I must have this. And so he's sitting there and he was like, I almost don't know if I can get rid of it. And I was like, I sure hope you do because I came here to take it home with me. And so that's what I use for the album. It plays super well, but I'm not super particular. I'll try a bunch of stuff. Man, Eric, he's got some super nice like ESP. He's got other key. I've got him on the headless Kiesels. They're
I've
the way to
got
go.
a 7 and an 8 Kiesel.
Yeah.
Super comfortable.
Yeah, just really comfy to play.
LTDs. I have a Hellraiser 6-string Schecter,
Classic.
which is awesome.
I had one of those.
I don't
And
even
actually,
know what
I have a
Mine's like
custom
the,
guitar coming this year that I ordered a couple months ago from WKM Guitars.
custom.
Shout out WKM.
It's gonna be super cool.
sounds like a radio station.
it's a headless Warrior
WK
with a green and black crackle.
green and black
How much
crackle.
did that run you?
Oh, we don't got to talk about that. We don't got to talk about that.
$4,000.
Whatever
after
it
the
is,
pod. That's
whatever it
for
is,
We don't, got
make
to talk
it.
about it. It's going to be sick, though.
Customs. Yeah, customs.
You got like 3 jobs, right? Or-
Yeah.
I got two.
But yeah, I'm ruined for headless guitars, too, though. Like, the custom had to be headless. I still like playing my LTDs, but even sitting down, it's so much more uncomfortable with a headstock because your
Yeah.
left arm still has to hold something up. The headless, they just sit upright.
They just
Yeah.
bounce
You can just
perfectly.
move.
I had a headless fan fretted Bryce. I liked it. I ended up getting rid of it. I would love to get another fan fretted though, because to play
I've never had
tapping
one.
stuff, it's unmatched.
See, I have the fan frets, especially for the 8-string. It's really nice because it's a 26 on the higher strings, and on the lower it's a 27 and a half. And so that little extra bit helps
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, you know the band Ginger.
Yeah, no,
So
they
they-
play fan frets.
And they have this song called Pisces, and the intro is all this tapping stuff. I can play all that tapping stuff. If I play it on that fan fret, I play it miraculously. If I play it on a regular it's like a lot more difficult to play down through here.
I've played his fan frets. I mean, the only difference to me really is you get to have better string tension.
Right. I mean, I
Like
think
the playing itself, I don't think makes that much
I was
difference.
worried about the transition, but playing wise, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah,
but
I didn't have a hard time at
Not
all
at
with
all.
transition.
Right. No, not at all.
Is that what
it
it's
was
made
natural.
for? The tension of the
it's,
string.
it's more
Yeah.
balanced.
Yeah.
It's a more even.
Is like the lower string have more
Yes,
length and
it's
the
longer for the lower, and so your
guess that
fat
makes
strings are tighter.
Yeah.
which is constantly a battle with like the low tunings.
Low
we're playing
tunings,
in.
yes.
And so I can use like not like giant cables.
Yeah.
you know.
I don't think they are necessary, but they're definitely like clutch to have.
No, I find them. I'm not sure I'd ever buy another non-headless guitar at this point. And
Yeah.
a non-fan fret, if it was a 7, I could get by with a standard scale. Because my Ernie Ball is a standard. It's 25 and a half, which is pretty loose.
I think even like an 8 string at like 26 and a half is fine.
Yeah, it's workable. It's totally workable. It's just that little extra bit of comfort. I really like it. You know?
Yeah.
And I've gotten used to it now. Like more often than not, I'll grab my Kiesels these days just because they're so comfy. They're just so light. I mean, it's the headless is the way to go.
I'm just insanely strong, so I don't have an issue with it.
That's true. He's got big muscles.
I mean, headless definitely are better, but I'll have an Iron Bird at some point in my
Those
life.
are super cool.
I mean, Iron Bird's like the coolest shape ever. They are like notorious for neck dive though.
Well, I had a Thunderbird.
Thunderbirds are also
cool.
sick.
They're super
Yeah.
cool. Yep.
And an F-Phone Thunderbird, and I got rid of it because the neck dive on that thing,
Yeah, they're terrible.
I hated.
My first like half decent guitar was an Epiphone SG, and the body must have been made out of plywood, and the neck wasn't, and so it would neck dive something awful. It was terrible. It was just like as soon as you let go, to the ground.
Even if I never
hate that.
played it though, I would want to have one.
Yeah.
I love those guitars.
There's Ibanez back in the day had a Roadster 2 series bass. It was my first bass from a pawn shop. Total piece of crap, but it sounded amazing. Like I had a screw
I had
in
an
it
old
to put the
Ibanez. That's
strap.
what I used to play on.
Well,
I
Ibanez
remember that. That was a
my-
nice
The
bass.
sound gear. Was it a sound gear?
It was
Shout out Sound
no,
Gear.
it wasn't Sound Gear. It was a Roadster 2 series. This is before the Sound Gears came out. This is like an 80s.
Is that the
bass.
even more ghetto version of it?
No, dude. Sound Gear was way after, and I don't.
A
actually
Geo is
like,
the real basic level.
Yeah, and I don't like the Geos or the Sound Gears actually.
And I really like an Ibanez guitar. That's what Jason. He's all Ibanez. And his are
Yeah.
all. He's got like a
He's
flaw.
got
Prestige.
he's got like a
He's got a really sweet Universe.
Universe.
He's
Yeah,
got like
it's awesome.
a really cool vintage RG, like made in Japan. That's really nice. He's got another.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind to have like a Prestige 7-string.
Right. He's
Yeah,
got a couple
for sure.
Prestiges that
I
are sick.
I've primarily always played Ibanez, but
See, I have little hands.
I want
so
to get
small
that
necks
first.
help.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get that bass because that one got pawned off when I was in the army. So I know, and I've never been able to find it again. I found it on Reverb, so I'm just watching all of them now.
Yeah.
You know, I'll get it eventually, kind of thing.
I mean, there are definitely some guitars that I need to have at some point.
That's just one I need to have, even if
Yeah.
I don't. And it's always been like I'm always chasing the sound of that bass.
Yeah.
So, but I want to get a Music Man. I want to get a Ray 35.
Music Mans are
Those
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's what Ernie. That's Ernie Ball. But I've never been a big guitar guy, really. Like I've always been more of an amp dude, and like the pedals and the effects. Like the guitar just is what it is. Like I can make anything sound pretty good. If it's got humbuckers, I can make it work.
That's what I'm saying. That bass,
Yeah.
the Roadster 2 series, it had 2 humbuckers in it, jumbo frets, and it was solid. It was a massive sounding bass. And I didn't have an amp the first few months, maybe, so I would lay my head on it and listen to
Feel the vibration.
That's what's up.
Totally.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man. I'm really into guitars. I like toys though. I'm
Yeah.
just a toy guy.
It's fun to have.
Yeah, like for me, amps aren't a big deal because I play a stomp.
Mhm.
So there's every amp in the world is on it. I don't need to like. I do like pedals. Pedals are cool. I like buying preamp pedals.
Yeah, I just started getting into pedals. Though.
But
Yeah, I was a
guitars,
big pedal
I
guy.
mean, an Iron Bird is a must-have. I would love to have like an old Kelly.
Those are cool. Super cool.
And honestly, like a new guitar, I really want. I want one of Dave Davidson's Warriors.
Those are really
Those look
sweet.
so awesome.
Yep.
well, the guitars that or the basses that Ginger's bass player
Dominating.
plays.
What are you doing to us right now?
I gotta stand up. My ass is sore from this fucking stool.
Why don't you sit in his nice chair?
I was
Marcus
saying.
didn't bring it over here, and so whatever.
It's too late now. You
Marcus.
committed.
For the
Yeah.
captain
I
only.
committed. I'll stand up. It's fine. I'll just be powerful over top of you all. But no, Ginger's bass player. The guitars he played. I actually messaged there.
He's got some crazy custom bass, right? I watched the playthrough. It's some crazy looking thing.
Yeah, I messaged the bass company, and they have some dealers over here in the U.S.
What company is it?
I have to look because I don't remember their name off.
It's
the
none
top
I
of my head.
recognized. Yeah.
No, it's they're from Italy, I think.
Walmart.
They ain't got those in Italy.
No.
Yeah. But they make some crazy, and he play, and the way he plays and the tone he gets, which he uses, I think, a Helix.
That's what I'm.
That's what I used to.
Yeah, and
The killer.
he uses that Helix and has a split channel in that Helix or whatever. There's a video of him talking about it. It's in a Ukraine language.
Actually, we're all three of us are using stomps now.
Yeah, we got Marcus on one
too.
finally.
I got the white one,
Yep.
the better
Yep.
one.
It's just a super handy little tool because it's like this big and it can do every sound you need,
Yeah.
and it's got like tons of routing capabilities.
The
so
effects
you can use
are
it. Effects are really
Lots of
good.
effects.
See, but
like
I'm just
the
not
selling point for me.
technologically
It's not hard to use
great.
though.
To use
I mean, it was. I'm
It's
not
a li-
either.
I had an old Digitech and I never used it.
I'm really
I
bad
got
with
rid of it.
technology. I'm just not that kind of person.
That's how I.
But-
yeah.
I mean, it was a learning curve, but you get used to it pretty quick.
And you can
It's not hard at all.
you can program it on the computer, right?
Oh yeah,
That's
Yeah.
the best way to do it.
You just have to
It's
mess
much
with
easier.
Well,
it.
that's the thing is I want to split my signal.
it can do that easy.
To I want a dirty channel and a clean channel, and I want to blend it. That's how Tool does it.
That's what I-
But they don't. He uses he's
Right, he's
analog
using
and-
hard,
Yeah.
hardware.
so-
That's what he does though for all your tones, right? It's always a split.
Yeah, how are you going through and getting your tones now, Marcus?
In
'Cause
the
it's only you picking
in the
your bass
computer
tones,
or
right?
in on in the computer it's a little different. Basically, just a DI is recorded, and then I will generally have that split up into any number of distorted, dirty, clean, clanky, and low subby channels, and then that all gets bussed into one master bass thing with some processing and some other crap.
Do you use Parallax for a lot of that? What
No.
do you use plugin wise?
Is that what I'm using? Yeah, Parallax.
The
I
neural.
think so.
That's what
That's what I'm
everybody
using right
Yeah,
now.
that's just
what
like an
everyone-
all-in-one thing
Yeah.
that just kind of does it for
Yeah.
you, which
It
is
does-
great. Like,
It does the job for.
I just like having I just like nerding out with bass guitar and having absurd amounts of different
Why not?
tracks. Just all it's all the same thing. It all does the same thing.
yeah.
But
And honestly, you can get some good tones with just Reaper stock stuff for bass.
And then I think for the album, you didn't do any like weird extra guitar tracks, right? It was just the one set of reamps, wasn't it? Or
that
did you do
and
some
then
scratchy stuff.
we probably added some extra, like the HM stuff would be the only.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But the core is just that one shot through the 6505.
Yeah.
And that's how I do my live stuff. I use this. I'm going to use the stomp for that, but it's just good. The EVH 5150. Just boost it.
Yeah, the bass
Call
was
it a
like a
day.
blend of like a dark glass type of distortion, like a rat type of distortion. Some of the parts had like some of the fuzzier sections had like I think we used the pickle,
The
the
classic.
swollen pickle, and then just like a lower subby track with the hold down the low end.
So how's your mixing and mastering and recording process changed for your band specifically over the years?
Aside from me tracking guitars by myself, like it's always just been him. He's always done the vocals. We did all the vocals at my house because we were like, his mom didn't like the screaming, which is fair because we were kids. But no, we've always, like, now that I record it myself, I record it and then I just share the whole session with him, and then he can just suck out the DIs and do his thing. Or we send them off to Jason for reamps if we're doing that. And then we just come here to do vocals just because, like, when we're both doing the vocals, it helps to both be here. And I think vocals especially, like, it's good to be like, all right, hold that a little bit longer. Or
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't want to do those alone
Yeah.
because that's a very nuanced thing.
Well, I told Marcus, I said, because I sent him all the stuff. I'm like, I did the vocals. If you need me to change anything, we live a minute apart now.
Yeah.
I'll just come over and do it real quick.
Well, they both have really good ears for that stuff too.
I do not.
There's a lot of situations where I'll think it's like something's ready to go. I'm like, do this instead, and it definitely improves it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of a one-trick pony. I've been called the Cookie Monster of my generation. But so I do a lot of weird stuff, and it's labeled weird. Like when Marcus opens these next ones up, the vocals tracks, I'll have so say I'll do like say a protagonist. I'll have a protagonist bus, an antagonist bus.
Interesting.
And then within that bus, wet teeth scream, fucking hardcore cry scream,
Wet
or-
teeth scream.
Yeah, or I'm
And
doing.
I'm
some
gonna
weird
delete
shit.
all of them and make AI redo them.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
but and then
We
it's
have
like,
that kind of stuff too, though. Like,
Yeah.
there's some stuff on the
Random.
album that's my like pissed at my dog scream,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
and that's what I call it.
yeah.
I mean, tough guy
Yeah,
vocals, stuff like that.
I forgot like what happened when you something came up and you screamed it like or I was talking about a dog or something, and you.
Oh yeah, it's hey, quit that shit.
Yeah.
That's what I would always scream at
And
my
then I was
dog.
like, hey, do that during this part.
Yeah.
And it just worked. Well, it was like a layer. Like we just add silly layers every
I
now
say
and
we
then.
have some of the parts have like 12 different vocals going on.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But they're super layered.
How are you deciding to do that? Like, do you want it to sound bigger, or you
It's
want
not
a
even.
different
I wouldn't say it's a
tone?
bigger thing. It's kind of like
It fills out the sound.
it's a texture thing.
Yeah.
Because
And everything is doubled now.
yeah, we double. I mean, everything starts being doubled. Every vocal has 2 tracks.
Always.
Yeah,
Never
that's
is there
that's
a
the
single.
minimum. Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
think
minimum.
so. And then,
Just beefs it up a little bit.
and like I do a lot of layers. Just I think our voices, like mine's a little more like bubbly, I guess, almost.
Is that how you would describe it, Marcus?
I guess there's more like phlegm to my throat, and so our voices have always
No, they're
blended
definitely
well.
different, but-
Actually,
do
I actually
blend
think
well.
Tanner's a better like deathcore vocalist than me. I think he'd be better like in a straight deathcore band.
Yeah.
I am way more interested in like death metal vocalists.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have definitely different sounds, but they mix really well together.
Yeah.
And Marcus actually has a really good hardcore yell
Mhm.
that he tries to never do. But it's at least on every album once.
Always at the last second.
That's
Yep.
funny.
And
The only reason I did it on this one is because Seth was like, I really need to redo this part. I don't like it or whatever. And I was like, I'll just do it. I don't care.
And
then
it sounds really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And my
there
big
it
thing is like I always wanted to be able to do it live. So like if we're doing layers, it's all stuff that we can just do.
Yeah.
And like it may not sound as like huge, but we never want to get like too cute with it. But like for some parts, yeah, like let's just do like 6 tracks here and make it sound. And like usually it'll be like the main 2 are pretty loud and there's a bunch of stuff underneath it.
Yeah, it's just
So, like,
I mean
fill it out.
most of the time it's just for like stereo spread, like because like some of the more direct fast parts we generally stick to the single but the doubled like main vocal, and then like in the bigger sections where it's more open we can have like stereo spread of stuff like in different places with different tonality and weird stuff and all that. It just adds to the stereo image. That's pretty much all it does.
Yeah.
But-
What kind of effects are you putting on that, Marcus?
Just a lot of EQ, compression, saturation,
Sometimes some cool delay stuff, like
limiting,
delay throws.
yeah, effects. Just nothing crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, the vocals are pretty just dry.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not much on
I
them.
try not to do anything crazy to them because they don't really.
Well, they come out pretty distorted.
yeah,
we
like,
don't.
already, yeah.
We don't need a lot of help, thankfully, with that. Like, it's not like some guys where like it's a half scream and like you can just like crank the crap out of some limiter and compress it and make it sound more distorted than it is. Like, luckily, we're both like good enough that we don't have to like do a lot of tricks.
Do you do that to me, Marcus?
I think I process them like normal. Like I feel like there's not like whatever you sound like, you're pretty much sounding like that. Like if you are distorting a vocal, you can tell that the vocal is distorted, and that might be its own sound in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and that can be done really cool too.
Yeah.
I think
That does sound cool. Sometimes.
like a band, well, just a vocalist in general. I think he was in both bands, like Norma Jean and the Chariot. That sound they have on the vocals, I don't know what it's called. It's just a super cool. It's like almost like a radio static sound. It sounds awesome for that kind of music.
yeah, it's like
It would sound like shit with our music, but
Yeah.
it sounds really cool with that.
yeah, it's like basically emulating driving a preamp really hard.
Yeah, it sounds
That's-
awesome.
Yeah, like a tube preamp.
I think you can get really weird with stuff, and it sounds cool. Then I think you still have to have some of the character of the actual voice.
it's got to sound humanish.
Yeah, it's still got
Yeah.
to sound like someone's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it sucks, it's gonna not like
Yeah, you're not fixing suck.
yeah.
It's true. There's only so much you can doll it up.
Yeah.
I mean, just as an example, like 6 Feet Under, Chris Barnes, like he sounds like shit now.
Yeah.
They can't make him sound better.
Mm-hmm.
He sounded like shit for the last 20 years. He keeps going at it though. God bless him.
Yeah.
Is there so on the EP or the new album or the singles? Are you guys going to experiment around just to try something you haven't done yet, or a
I mean, we've
sound
learned-
or a genre? Or
Well, I mean, we're definitely branching out in genre because like where he's written it, it's so different.
We're experimenting with guitar tones too.
We've been
Yeah, for
messing
sure.
with different guitar. We're like kind of said we were getting into like weird like fuzzy stuff and way more like distortion and like the HM2, the classic
Yeah,
chainsaw.
just chainsaw it up.
Because the music's not as technical, and so
it allows for more distortion. in
right,
there.
Yeah.
we can do some more like weird stuff.
You don't need as much clarity with it.
Right, like
Yeah.
I'm not super concerned with these riffs coming through because there's just like a bunch of chugs, like it's a bunch of heavy stuff. And there's occasional parts where it speeds up. I'm like it's fine. As
But
long as-
even then, yeah, it's just
if you play it clean enough, it'll come out one way or the other. It'll still sound pretty cool. But no, we've definitely like experimented with that, and like where Seth wrote the songs, they're totally different. And like he said, I did kind of cut and slice and mix things together, and So I think it's definitely like unique for us, and like it's gonna sound weird, like it's gonna be strange. It's like two different bands almost, but like it's
But that was
us.
the plan, though. You
Right.
know, to
It
be
was.
two different bands.
Well, you get a broader audience that way.
Yeah, and
you
just
know.
but I mean, who cares?
I mean, Nickelback sounded a lot different from album 4 to 1.
And like he's doing some inhales now because like that's what fits better.
Yeah,
And so we're doing
Yeah.
some weird sounds on that. I can't do inhales.
I'm
They
doing
sound awful.
fake inhales on one of these songs, and the character it's supposed to be is God.
There you go.
Yeah, but Marcos will make it either
I'll
sound.
add extra bass to it.
If Marcus makes it sound, if he says it's shit, then it'll be shit, and he will delete it off there. But it's
I just
layered.
think- I think
it's
like
just
the-
part of the layer.
The world of vocals these days is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, like before, I don't really like the weird noises, but it so many vocalists just sound so different these days.
Mhm.
And like
Yeah.
Will's an incredible vocalist. Like,
Yeah.
he's just so
yeah,
good.
some of them are just like nuts. Like,
Yeah, I mean, there's
doing-
just some crazy stuff happening.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite bands right now, I don't even know if they're a band still, is Orphan.
I know that name. I think. I don't
Dude,
know
their
if I know the
vocalists are
song.
nuts. I mean, one of them is just like,
they have two vocalists.
yeah,
Yeah, two
one of them
vocals.
just
I've
sounds
s- I've
like
seen them in the
he's
chat
getting
before.
murdered. He's like shrieking the whole time.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's just in pain, which is a crazy sound.
I think he actually blew his voice out.
Well, it
but-
sounds awesome, whatever he did.
Yeah.
And the
Do
other
it
guy is
again.
just like straight up like power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really cool mix.
Yeah.
I really like when bands experiment with that kind of stuff when it's needed. That's why I like, Cattle Decap so much. I mean, Travis was the start of the weird noises.
Mm-hmm.
And no one gives him really credit for it, I don't think. Everyone thinks Will started it.
Mm-hmm.
But even Will said that he got it all from Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff he did on,
Monarch or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
Monolith.
Monolith. That's right.
That started it all. That weird sing, scream, tone.
And like where he'll like,
twisted.
if you watch him, he'll like stick his tongue out and like pull his, just do crazy stuff. Just like
It sounds
distort
awesome.
and just change it the way it's coming out.
Physically, analogically.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he'll like stick his tongue out and like do all kinds of crazy stuff. Or
He started all the weird noises stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because your mouth is essentially just like a filter. Like,
right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, it's all coming from here, but then how you shape it.
Yeah.
But then also
Yeah.
at the same time, like I love listening to Cannibal Corpse, and Corpse Grinder does the same thing the whole
Right.
time, and it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's just so many
Sounds big.
cool things happening right now. I think metal in general is in a great spot,
Yeah. No, I mean,
especially death
well-
metal. It
well-
is like having a big renaissance.
Right.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of music, especially shoegazy kind of stuff, is becoming a lot
Well,
popular
I think
right
the
now with the young
pandemic fucked
kids.
everybody,
Yeah.
and now everyone's just wanting to make music again.
Yeah.
Mhm, for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of kids are doing it, popping off. If you haven't checked out that first interview I did with was it Nailbite?
Yeah,
Yeah. They've got a shitload of followers now, and they had a lot then when I interviewed them, but they got a lot more now.
Yeah.
They're just young kids.
Well, it's even
doing their thing,
going to these Huntington Music Collective shows.
Right. It's great.
There's tons
So
of kids
cool.
there,
Tons of
and they are
kids.
having a great time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
adorable.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it definitely like, I was surprised at how many kids have shown up. And it's so cool to see because that was me. Like when I was 13, 14, we'd have our mom drop us off at the
Yeah.
high amp. And like, didn't matter who was playing. We just went just to see what was going on.
And then, they're moshing. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And not just young kids. It's a lot of young girls.
Yep.
Yeah, they're just
which
having a
is
good time.
Right.
Very
Right.
different.
Getting into the scene. Right.
Yeah.
I really
there's-
think like the best thing to come out of the pandemic somehow was metal. I just
Yeah.
feel like metal right now is so good. So many old bands that are coming out of retirement,
Tons.
making killer albums.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I got cooped up and bored and started playing music again.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like,
Totally
hell
what
yeah,
happened.
dude.
Yeah.
So you guys, I would consider you guys veterans, local veterans.
We've been at it for a long time.
Yeah. What advice would you have for those young kids trying to start? They're 16, 18, 20, 23.
This is something that we talk about, which always cracks us up, is like, we're starting a new band, getting the promo pics,
Photos, yeah.
getting the logo.
Fuck that stuff. Just make
Yeah,
music.
release
Right.
music.
It's all about, like, we've never gotten like promo pics taken.
We
Like,
probably
it's-
should,
We
but-
should probably, but I think you start with the music,
Yeah.
and you, like I said earlier, like I write the kind of music I want to listen to. And so I think that it's all about, at the end of the day, it's all about the music. And so
I
just
feel like
write what you're passionate about and like what resonates with you. And like if other people like it, cool.
That's the thing too. I think you can write stuff that other people like, but if you don't write something that you like, it's not going to last very long.
Right.
I mean, at the
How
end
long
of the
can
day,
you fake it?
yeah,
Right.
like at the end of the day,
Right.
I know a lot of people aren't going to like our music.
Sure. It's weird.
We like our music, so it's fun for us no matter what. Like even if we never played a show, no one ever listened to it. It's nice for us to do it.
And like
Yeah.
I would do it anyways. Like even
Yeah,
if
exactly.
we weren't a band, I'd still probably be writing songs.
Well, that's
myself.
like my buddy, one of my guitar buddies, Chase. He was like, I think he said I would be fine with recording something and just having it for you guys to listen to,
Yeah.
and not posting
Yeah.
it. But I'm like, dude, at least just post it.
I mean,
and fuck.
making music
that
is,
point.
is fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I love the process of making music. That's like Campbell Corpse asks Webster. He's like, dude, I just like the making the music.
I mean,
part.
like,
Well, that's another thing I would give advice to like a younger band. Don't just go like shell out $5,000 to pay
Right.
someone to record you.
Learn to do it yourself.
It's so
Yeah.
easy to do now.
Yeah,
Like
just
just
technology
Yeah.
is
Somebody on Reddit the other day on some music page was like, what's the easiest way to cheapest way to record music? And I said, dude, just get
A cheap
computer,
interface.
just get a Focusrite,
fucking
just
get Reaper,
any
get
computer.
and then plug in, dial it, dude.
and there's so many
the
good free
plugins.
Right. There's so much good free like guitar plugins. The Ignite Emissary, if anybody needs
I
one in
got that,
particular,
yeah.
that
Yeah,
was really
I use that one
that one's
too.
really good. Like you could
Yeah.
do a full professional mix with that, 100%.
100%, dude.
With some free IRs, like you could totally get by with
Yeah,
that.
and what's that bass one? The Sansamp emulator,
Yep.
Marcus.
Yeah,
is-
there's
Right.
tons of
So much
Yeah.
cool
free
stuff.
stuff.
yeah, that's really like it. Back in the day, I felt like it was super hard to get anything recorded.
Mhm.
That's one thing. We did a band. I mean, we kind of got it professionally made, pictures or whatever. But I would have rather spent more time just getting a good recording.
Oh yeah.
down.
No, 100%.
We've got one good recording, and it was after I left the band, and I'm not on that recording, and I'm sad about it. But it's the best one that we had, you know. And
But there's obviously nothing wrong with getting promo pics.
Right,
and
for
stuff.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
just if you're doing all that before you've ever released a single song or played a show, that's weird, I think.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, get the music, get it at least recorded and ready to be put
Right.
out. You know.
Mhm.
Like I mean, because the promo pics are way easier to do than obviously like cranking out a full album.
Yeah, you can just
But-
take a picture,
Yeah.
post
I mean,
it, done.
like to us, like yeah, it's always been about the music at the end of the day. Like it's just the music first, and like that's the whole point. And that's one thing I think that like that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do Recreate is because I just wanted it for me, just to have it, because like I had all these songs written, and it would have been a shame to have never like done anything with them. Whether or not anybody ever listens to it, like I get to listen to it. And,
Yeah.
like I'll get to listen to it in 10, 15, 20 years and be like, hell yeah, that was awesome. That was
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
And so I mean, yeah, I think just put the music first, and like whatever you want to do, it's easy.
And
It's
just
so
go
easy.
to shows and talk to people.
Right.
Yeah. Well, now that there's shows happening.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I know technically the Loud was always kind of playing shows, the V Club.
Dude,
But,
I can't be
like,
up that late.
Right.
That's
I-
my
I can't
thing.
do
They
it.
start super late, and like if you're a 16-year-old kid, like you can't go there.
You can't go there. That's like to play our first show. We had to wait for my buddy Eric to turn 18.
I remember I played a show at a monkey bar back in the day with Harrison's other band. I played bass in them, and they had to sneak me in the back because it was at a bar, and I was just like, whatever, I'm
Yeah.
here. So
And it was cool at the time, But yeah, that's the thing. If there was, now there is. I hope they get. I hope Huntington Music Collective gets a venue, their own personal.
I mean, the way it's going now, that's going to happen, I think.
I think
Yeah.
eventually. I mean, every time I see like a for sale sign around here, I'll just like call the realtor and be like, hey, you want to donate this?
Yeah.
Like I've done it with a few places. Like if I see a for sale sign, I'm just like, hey, you want to donate this?
Yeah.
Like, you need tax write off.
Yeah, I've been well, in the beginning I was looking a lot harder than I am now,
There's just so many spots around here.
There's
And
a
kids
lot
are-
of open spots, yeah.
And kids are listening to like heavy
stuff,
music.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's really come like full circle again.
It's great
Like
to see.
the teen angst is back.
But yeah,
It's
and I'm here
really
for
bad.
it.
Yeah.
I'm fucking here for it.
And I mean, it's like, this is what like Nate Holly and all those guys were saying when they started it is like, the old heads did it for them and like kept the scene alive. And then we kind of stopped. Like we didn't keep it going. And
We
so
got
now,
old.
yeah, we're old.
We had the
And now we're-
had the drug epidemic and then
Right.
the pandemic.
but now
and
like
then-
we're old and we have the money and the means to do it. And so like they're doing it and it's super cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
and it's
young
good.
me
It's good for
would
the
be
city.
so mad that I'm not putting out more music than I am because I have the ability to do it now. you
Man, the
know?
first Huntington Music Collective show I went to, it wasn't the first one. It was the second one.
I think I went to the second.
Dude, I
or
almost
the
like
third.
teared up.
Oh, I definitely
It was like
100%.
honestly beautiful. Just see like all the kids just dancing
Right.
around
No,
having
I was
fun.
floored. It was like
I
people
got heard. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that was the one we were
Yeah,
all at.
Marcus
yeah.
punched a child in the head.
Yep.
It was a
it
friend's
was-
child.
It was a guy that recorded on our last album.
Oh,
Like it's
yeah.
so cool. Yeah, it's so
like
cool
just,
to see. People
just
bringing their
hitting
kids.
his son in the head. Just
And his son
brought a
loved
tear
it.
to
Like
my
that's the
eye.
awesome part. He loved
Yeah.
getting hit in
Right.
the head.
Yeah, no, I
It's just so cool.
apologized afterwards. It was fun.
Yeah, you better have because you work somewhere that you.
I was like, shout out James.
Yeah, shout out James.
Killer vocals. They need to do something soon, hopefully.
That's another thing that we do. Guest vocals from James and Trent on every album. We
album.
got to get them on this next one
Yep,
too.
our buddies.
So, are you guys wanting to play? Are you looking for a drummer to play live?
Yeah,
Or?
we've got a live drummer lined up, but it'd be cool to have somebody full time. of course.
Shout out, guys, if you're a drummer.
Well, there's
I mean,
always stuff in the works.
If you can,
We're always
if you can,
lurking.
if you can play blast beats and
That's
fast
the thing. You got to be
double
able to
kick
blast
parts,
for a long time.
And that's what's so hard is like our music's so
definitely.
crazy. Like the drumming is crazy.
I feel like the
especially.
drums are like the hardest part, respectfully.
Probably. And I know.
And anyone who's good enough to play it is already in 3 different bands.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem, yeah.
I mean, that's why like one of the reasons I started learning to play the drums. It's like I just want to be able to play our music, and so I'd rather stick on guitar. But eventually, it'd be cool to be able to like record them maybe if I ever get good enough.
Yeah.
You could do both at the same time too.
It'd be pretty intense.
Yeah, you could try it.
But no, I mean, we're hoping to play some this summer. That's the goal. I've been making sure I keep like I'll run through the songs, make sure I don't forget them. You know, keep them clean. That way, we're ready to jump on if need be. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, yeah, we're always in the hunt.
Well, that's my thing is like we've talked about, how many songs do we need? Really? Get 3 songs written
Your short
out?
set.
Yeah, dude, who cares?
Mhm.
Talk in between.
Dude, play some covers.
We have too much
play
music.
some
Yeah,
covers.
totally.
That's what
Covers.
I thought about, yeah.
We've never played covers, and I always wish we would have. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's like a lot of
I
just.
thought it was
in the-
lame
in the
back
tre-
in the
in
day,
the
but now
trenches.
being older, I'm like, dude,
That would
covers
be a
would
good
so
one.
cool.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
See, my thing is I don't learn other songs. I used to learn a lot more. I don't now. And I should. I should probably learn other bands' music.
Well,
I just
see,
never,
that's the thing is I
No.
don't ever learn other bands' music. Maybe a riff, but Eric.
That's all I used to
Eric
do,
will
but I
learn
don't
one
do that
song a
anymore.
day and hard songs.
It's good. It's a good
And,
practice.
Yeah.
Especially just to see. I watch a lot of like playthroughs to see what they're doing, and I've like played guitar long enough that I can like know. Like, all right, this is how they're playing that. Like, that's cool, and I can steal it to for some degree. But I don't actually like sit down and learn it. But like, it's a good practice just to be able to figure that stuff out.
I think that's it's fun, something fun to do. When you got the time to do it, But that's the thing I struggle with. It's like if I have 15 minutes, do I want to spend 15 minutes learning a song, or am I going to play this riff over and over? That's going to make me a little bit better at this technique or whatever.
I really like learning songs.
right. That
I
makes
have
it-
a good time.
especially when you're like, because you've really been taking it seriously for like a couple years, and
Yeah.
so like especially now, it's good to like build in, just to have like your riff bank of like stuff. I know this is like how this sounds when I want it to sound
Yeah.
this way, like this type of chord, or the way this progression kind of works, or whatever. It's good.
Well,
to
it
have
really impacts your writing.
That's the thing; it impacts you, right?
Yeah.
I went to learn that Alice in Chains song, and I wrote a whole song for
Right.
this next EP, and it was perfect for the EP. And technically, there's only 3 songs on this EP. There's like 4 or 5 tracks, but there's only 3 songs. And I was like, I need another song, and then that one came out perfectly. It fit the vibe. Marcus knows what the vibe is, kind of. He'll get more of the vibe once he starts listening to it, but
Yeah, I mean, I like in a perfect world, I'd be able to write like Brandon Ellis,
Right.
from Black
Sure.
Dahlia, Arsis. He's been in a lot of bands, so I've learned a lot of. I can't play all of the Black Dahlia songs. They're very hard.
Yeah,
It's yeah.
But
super hard.
just trying to learn them, it teaches you. Oh, this is how he came up with this riff, and I can use a skeleton version of that
yeah.
in another song,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
really helpful.
That's why I've never tried to learn a Tool song on guitar, but I think I'm about to be like, okay, let's learn a.
See, yeah, now that's some like weird, crazy polyrhythm.
Yeah.
and, like, all
Well,
kinds
and
of
then that
funky
way
stuff.
you realize, oh, this is why the bass player did this, or vice versa, And I think that is a cool thing as a bass. The bass, not to take away from guitar, but bass, you get to fuck around a lot more
You'll find out.
and find out.
I
You
mean,
get to-
I've always thought. I think Kyle from Vitriol said this, and this is kind of how I look at it. Is that like we said earlier, like I'm writing a skeleton for him and to like put meat on the drums. Like I'm writing music somebody can blast to it. That's the goal. Like I'm writing riffs and I want to hear somebody blast to it. And I want to hear Marcus do funky stuff. Like I'm writing with the drums in mind. To me, and so yeah, like I want to do stuff like, all right, I know if I play like some cool chordy stuff here, he's gonna come in there and do like a funky walking part or do something else I'm not even thinking of, start slapping underneath it. Like one of the riffs in Brain Bleed, it's like a pretty like technical like string skippy kind of riff, and he was like slapping behind it. I'm like, what? Never would have expected that.
Yeah. Now, has he ever put something behind a riff of yours that you don't like?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
I don't think so. Never.
I'm just
Really?
that good. I'm just that guy.
Yeah.
Right.
I've always felt like sometimes the slapping is looked down upon.
No, I think it's super cool.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think it's
You
super
got to
cool.
use it tastefully and appropriate. I mean, if you're Victor Wooten, go to town the whole time.
Yeah.
But if you're,
You are the band if you're Victor.
Right.
Wooten,
Yeah.
It's for him.
but
No, I'm not sure there's ever been a part where I'm like, I don't really like that. No, I mean, because I think we've just done this so long. We've written
Yeah.
so much music together at this point. Like he knows like what. I mean, it's just him. It's just how he writes. I think. I don't think it's even like. I don't think it's something he's trying to do. Much like when I write something, I'll generally like sit down and think like sometimes I'm like when I was in that writing spree, I'd be like, all right, what do you guys want? And said I think one of the songs is like, let's do something ingested style. I'm like, all right, and so I
Yeah.
just wrote something that was kind of like ingested.
And I think the working title is Ingested Ripoff.
It is. We have another song where it's a riff off of some other band, and yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I have like an idea in mind of like what I want, but I'm not like
Yeah, anytime I'm writing the bass parts 2 days before the album releases, I'm not like actively like, oh, I need to slap right here. I'm like, oh, this would sound like I'd just be messing around. Like I sit there with my bass, have the tab open or whatever, or the song, just messing around. I'm like, oh, this would be cool.
Yeah.
And then kind of tweak
Generally,
it
I'll
from
do
there.
like, all right, I'm gonna do a fast part here, slower part here. That's really about it though. Like just follow the flow of the song and like how it goes. It's more about that.
Are you guys doing one take wonders, even with vocals?
No.
No.
Take wonders.
I am one take Edwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no.
No.
For the vocals especially.
Now you copy and pasting, or just each part is different?
I definitely do not copy and paste. I know. I mean, for demo stuff, I totally will. But when it comes for like a live album take, I play every note for sure.
You gotta have the character.
Yeah. I don't think I ever copied and pasted anything from Recreate. But I will.
Unless it was like a weird note that just was off or something.
Unless there's something where like I played it a million times and I missed one chug and I'll just.
But we
splice it in.
don't do it because we can't play. We would it would be out of just laziness or
Now I will
like necessity for
Now I will
the
like
part.
certain parts that are super precise. I'll track like a measure or two at a time. 100%. I will do that.
Just for tightness. It's
right,
not that you
just
can't
because
play
you want
it,
it so
but
clean. Because I mean I can play them, but like to get it, so I don't have to like edit it as much. Like I don't want to like really heavily edit because I learned to do that to try to take some load off of him. But no, generally it's all definitely no one takes. But I'm definitely like I'll try to do like a part at a time is how I go because I don't want it to be too fake.
Yeah.
So I'll do like three or four bars usually, and then if I need to like punch in one little section, I will.
Yeah.
But generally no shorter than a measure.
yeah, there's no reason to like track out a full song in one. Like that's just too
I think get pissed
stressful.
off you missed the one part.
Yeah,
Right.
like
in the verse and
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some people prefer to track like that. Like if
I know drummers like to do it that way.
drummer like just have them track the song, and then if they do another take, and then you just comp the pieces together. That's a good way. With guitar, I feel like with guitars, bass, and vocals, like doing it piece like in sections at a time, and like kind of, or if like you're not getting a section, just move on to another one, come back to it later.
Yeah.
No, definitely done that.
But yeah, just
Put a marker.
yeah, just whatever sounds best. Like it's not like we're changing the tempo and then speeding the audio back up or anything.
And plus, like
it's just for tightness. Just make it sound better.
for songs where it's like super fast, I want to downpick all of it as much as possible, but like
Just like an endurance thing.
it's not workable at live. Like I'm going to alternate pick it live, and so for the recording, I will downpick it, and then if I'm like if we were to playing them live, or I'm trying to do like just a one take through, I will make it easier on myself. And like the sound, no one's ever going to be able to tell the difference, but I know the difference if I like downpicked more. But like once it's in like a full mix, there's no way to really tell. But I like to. I mean, that's how I want it to sound.
I think there's like one.
Picked is hard.
I think there's like one random part where I played a
pick?
with a pick super hard, just because it was silly. But obviously live, I would just play it and nothing would change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, vocals wise, in my experience, like if I'm working on like the verse, then I would just want to work on that verse. I don't want to do the verse, chorus, and then come back to it. Because my voice sounds different by the end of it. And then two, fucking, if I was feeling it needed to be a certain way, articulation wise, now I got to rethink about how I was
Remember
wanting
it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what pop artists and rappers do. They just
loop it.
they'll
Right?
record like a line at a time.
Yeah.
When we do vocals, it's usually a line or a phrase at a time. And then because it's fresh in my head, we'll go back and double it right then and then move on to the next part. And like the single we did today, I'm doing 2 different vocals techniques. So I wanted to do all of those first, like all of one of them first.
Yeah, we're like
And then
logically
move on to the
thinking
next
about
one.
Yeah.
So one of them didn't fuck up the other.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we're doing it out of order, one line at a time, even though we could probably do a lot more in a single take. But it's going to be breathy. You're not going to have all the power behind it.
The power behind
Even
it.
though
Yeah,
you can do it live and it would sound fine, it's not going to sound as good as it could.
on a recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
There's
probably
no
do
reason
that.
not to.
You probably do that with the leads too. Like when I record bass, I recorded like the easy parts first, and then I left all the technical bits for last.
Generally, I just batched if I'm doing like a solo. I just batch that like I'm doing leads today.
You just knock it out.
Yeah. I don't usually try to break them up too much because I want to stay in like one section, like I'm in there.
Yeah.
Because if I move around too much, it's going to get funky in my brain.
What's something you guys learned on this album versus the other ones you've done?
I mean, the whole track.
With any of it,
I mean, me tracking myself was definitely an experience because I'd never done that.
Yeah, I had to yell at him a couple times.
Usually, I would just go to Marcus's house because he was the wizard and I didn't have the setup. And for this one, we talked about doing it that way, and I was like, let me try it at home. And there were some like goofy things like, I wouldn't.
It was like a
use the right
Reaper
pick or-
thing. I was like, you didn't change the the thing that's hidden in 6,000 menus and yada yada. But
no, I mean that was a good learning experience. And then like,
yeah, R.I.P. some of the transients on the guitars.
No.
Sorry,
and then like
it's all good though.
I edited
Learning
for
moment.
myself. That was a cool learning experience to get in there and be like, man, I really was like a millisecond off. And like it doesn't seem like much, but then when you do it, it's like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool here. You know, like especially like in a chug if it hits at the same time. Like you can get it really close when you're playing it live, but like there is if you just scoot them just a little bit more, it'll sound like just that much like fuller.
Yeah, no, I agree. If I'm off,
That's a really
Marcus, I
cool.
will have to redo, or you might have to move over some vocal hits
Oh yeah, I do.
on
yeah.
the beat
Oh yeah,
because it's just slightly off.
I can tell when something's off,
Well, it's
and that's
just like you'll hear it.
that's like a fun thing to mess with too. Like maybe like this album, I might try to like shift the guitar and bass parts maybe a little bit behind the beat, and that in and of itself is like a mixing trick. Like it'll make the drum transients pop through more. It'll give a little bit more swag to the overall riff or whatever.
Well, plus,
Like,
as I'm editing these, I'm not getting them close at all. Like I'm letting it be sloppy because that's kind of the style.
yeah,
You know, like
as long as it sounds good after,
Right.
you, like then it's fine.
Yeah,
I'm just letting it go.
Those little micro different like on the first album that we did, I swear to God, every single guitar note is on the grid.
And
Like
plus, we
it's
used to.
very tightly edited because I was like, but it sound like some of it sounds bad. Like some of the fast,
because it's so tight.
yeah, like the editing was not just because I was doing it with like the fast picking stuff. Like, and it's just
No, most
a mess.
of the really fast stuff, I don't touch that.
No,
Really, because it's too many notes. Like it's silly.
you can like nudge it around a little bit. Like,
I mean, I'll
if-
maybe do like if I came in early, I'll just scoot the whole thing.
Yeah.
But generally, the riffier stuff is not edited.
We usually
just because
keep that.
it just sounds wonky if you try to get it like note for note for note.
Yeah,
we'll keep the chugs tight just because that
Right.
makes
The
it.
heavy stuff is what's get more edited, which is funny how that works.
Yeah.
I think like some of my favorite albums are like metal bands that didn't even use a click.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
Tool doesn't use a click either.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
wild.
like some of the like early like Deicide albums, and they play
It's all
it's-
over.
Yeah, it's all over the place. But they don't play anything technically hard.
Right.
But it's all down picking or tremolo,
Yeah,
and you can like feel it in some of the riffs. It'll go down like 10 beats per minute.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
like by
ano-
the end of it,
that's-
'cause they just can't. They couldn't keep up.
That's another tip for young bands. Learn to play with a metronome.
you
Yep.
should be able to. But what
Like-
I'm getting ready about to say is this acoustic song I'm going to record.
That's different.
That's yeah.
It's totally
with
different.
that, yeah, because I'm doing in the beginning, in the intro and the first verse, I'm barely playing it, I'm barely singing it, and then it comes in and gets, and then the last chorus, it's a lot heavier, and I think I just want to let that breathe and see what happens. So, Marcus,
I think there's nothing wrong with that. Like
yeah,
All the early Dying Fetus stuff never to a click.
no,
Yeah.
and you can tell the difference
Right,
in that
because
too.
it'll
Well,
speed up and
I
slow
can
down.
play to a click, so it's.
It's good to know
not,
it.
The
And
other stuff is played to a click, you know.
And especially for practice sake, you should probably play to a click.
Yeah, I do practice. Sometimes I'll just go through the fretboard and play into a click, and so it's like I have the ability, but
Right.
this
makes the-
song is almost it's like a technique I'm going to use
For
not to
recording, it
use
makes it a whole lot easier too.
Yeah.
Because I
Especially
can
if you're
spit it
gonna-
out, and then he can load it right up, and then we know it's going to work.
It just keeps it consistent.
Right.
yeah, especially if you're sending stuff back and forth. Yeah, don't change the time signature to 1/4 and just
wreck it.
yeah.
Hey, we got a couple 6/4 on the album.
I do those. Yeah, those were some of those rare transitions where I felt like it needed a little bit more hangover. Basically, I think it's only like 1 or 2 spots though. But
Yeah, Tanner is notorious for 4/4.
Yeah.
I like
He does not want anything but 4/4.
We,
That's
we got
true.
a riff in
Weird.
5/4 that we're working on.
Yeah, we have like a whole song I
Throws me
wrote
off.
that has a lot of time changes.
Yeah,
It'd be 5/4. I think there's some 3, some 2, and then I think there's like a 12/8 measure. I think, and they keep telling me just write along 4/4. Like, no, it's not the same.
yeah.
I like it caveman style.
Yeah, but
it is
you-
not the same. I
it-
think
no,
I have
it's
some
not.
songs that are 7/4 neck.
You
coming
do.
up. Yeah, which is
Probably.
weird. And I don't try to write that way. It's
And if you
just-
look at like,
No, 7's a good time because it's got like a nice feel to it. Selkies by BT Bam, that's in 7.
well, just like, time signatures aren't just about how it fits in the measure.
yeah,
It's about what's getting the emphasis.
Yeah.
And if something that's in 5/4 could be written in 4/4, but it's not going to feel the same.
No.
No matter what you do to it.
yeah, it's not going to
It's
feel.
got
And even
that
if you
1,
do
2,
like
3,
if you
1,
do a
2,
measure
or
of 4/4
1, 2,
and a
1,
measure
2,
of 2/4, that's different than one measure of 6/4. It's not the same. And it's okay to have different time signatures. We're gonna get there.
yeah.
It's all right.
But
It's a
early
learning
bands should
process.
probably just learn how to play with a click and not worry about the time signature.
Yeah.
When I do a click, I don't like it to have a downbeat. I just have it go the same doots throughout.
Yeah,
That's
then
how
you-
I
yeah.
do.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want it to change because then I get messed up looking for the one.
Uh-huh.
So I don't like it. I want it to be now when I record though. I do have the emphasis.
Do you like a subdivided kick? Like a 2-time, double time
Yes.
click.
If I'm recording, I will do it to that. I want to hit the eighth notes.
That's clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the tempos you ride in are kind of slow, I feel like.
Really, what tempos do you usually ride in?
I don't
So
even know.
I assumed they would be like almost 200.
No,
or
it's
something.
110 to 120. Like
Oh, the classic.
Well,
I mean, that's classic.
it depends. There's the guitarist time signature, and then there's drummer's time signature. So drummers double everything. So like if I write a song in 100 to a drummer, that's 200.
Yeah.
But to me, it's where the subdivision.
It's all the same because
all the same,
mathematically,
right.
like you're just dividing the notes in half.
It looks neater at the lower tempos. So like a lot of people, like all of our songs, pretty much bounce between 80 to 120. And so for me, when I'm tabbing it just fits better in that scale versus saying it's like 240.
But do you think that's when you're tabbing it? Do you think that's the reason why you're doing that tempo? Because the tab is
Yes.
Yeah, like
Right.
so Guitar Pro has influenced how you write. Sometimes I'm scared of that.
It's not that. It's that when I'm thinking about it, like I know I can play 30-second notes at 120. I know.
I mean, that's just what you're used to.
And that's how I think of it. Like I'm going to tremolo this part. It's going to be 30-second notes instead of it's going to be a bunch of 16th notes at 240 instead. So this is how when I'm like writing it, that's how I think about it.
Yeah.
Because I know like that's what I can play. And so I'm going to do a tremolo part. It's got to be within like a
Duration wise, as far as like the millisecond amount of the note, it's exactly the same.
Right.
It would not make a difference.
But that's just how I think of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my anchor is like, what's the 30-second note playing? Because that's what the blast beats will be doing too, is 30-second notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something you got to keep
If they're
in mind.
alternating. So that's kind of like I anchor it to that. But I mean, yeah, you could say it's 240. But I know Seth's thing is where the downbeat hits. And so for a lot of our stuff, if the downbeat's hitting on the 3, then you've got to do it in that 100 to 120 range. Because if not, your downbeats are on like the 1, which is weird.
yeah, I actually think like the tempo matters a lot more.
With
Like
the
what he's saying, like it looks cleaner in 120 versus 240.
Right.
But if it's 240, write it in 240.
oh yeah.
You know
also
what I
base
mean?
it off
Like it does make a difference.
I feel like you can have to base it off the snare too.
That's what. Yeah, that's
Like
why I was
the
saying the
snare on the
downbeat, where
3.
the snare's hitting on the 3.
Yeah.
Right. It'd be
Yeah,
weird.
That's a dubstep thing.
Well, I mean, it changes the way, like you're writing the drum, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you wrote a riff in 120 and sent it to a drummer and it's in 120, depending on how he views the riff, it might be in 120, but it might be in 240.
Yeah.
And if he writes it in 240, it should be in 240. It shouldn't be in 120.
Well, and see, when I'm drumming, I will set my metronome to those because most metronomes don't let you do the 2x, like they have the subdivisions. So I set my metronome to like 200 when I'm playing, or to 210 or whatever, because it sounds better to the click that I'm listening to.
Yeah.
So I think that's just how drummers think of it. I don't know why. It always kills me when some dude's like, I'm playing this at 320, and it's like, you're not though. You're not. You're playing at 160. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do a little math.
Right. Like it sounds cooler to say I'm playing this at 300, but like it's 150 beats per minute. Like,
300
And they're doing like
crazy.
they're doing like eighth notes at 3. It's like okay,
what's the record for
I mean,
tempo?
I mean, there's some dudes that can do some like really crazy, but there's some guy I
mean,
watched
what,
it,
like
he
a
cheats though. They figured it out, but he did like the Guinness World Records of like most single strokes in a minute, and it's like some absurd, 1,000 probably. But not like 1,000. I think it was like 1,000 beats per minute. He's just sitting there. Just
That's
crazy.
crazy.
No,
I mean,
but-
it's not music, but
Right. That's all you're doing though.
crazy.
But like, yeah, it's cool to be able to do it. I suppose to be that guy. But
So, how do you guys go about finding the vocal? I don't want to say melody to the songs.
I'm really big on melodies.
that's all
Yeah.
him.
I just let him do it everything. Well,
Yeah, I do think I'm pretty good at melodies, like
Yeah.
finding catchy stuff.
But how do you find it? Do you listen to the song and then like that's it there? Like,
Yeah,
you're
I have
just,
to. Like,
but,
first of
oh,
all,
yeah, that would
I
work.
cannot write anything to Guitar Pro. I can't write to MIDI.
Yeah,
I need to have like real instruments
Well,
and drums.
for to make the melody. I
Yeah,
agree with you.
yeah, I
tried
can't do it.
doing that. I can't do it. Yeah, I need to
And
hear
yeah,
the
I
recording.
just jam it, and like I know a lot of people. I don't know how they do it. They write lyrics first and then fit them in.
Mhm.
I'll just listen to it in the car every day, like for a week, and just in my head I'll be singing melodies, and something will stick out, and I'll write lyrics to it real quick and save it. I might write a song like in a week or two.
Mhm.
But melodies are really important to me because like a lot of metal, the riffs are pretty boring.
Mhm.
If you're playing like a thrashy thing, like it's fast, but it's not exciting. Nothing cool's happening. You got to spice it.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of like melodic content to the guitar necessarily.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's just like
yeah, and that's like I like to put a lot of pitch in my voice too. Like not singing, but instead of just doing a scream, I'll move up and down with the guitar part slightly in pitch, just so it makes it more musical.
Yeah, we kind of built like a language over the years, like do a mid high or do like the I don't know, like
Well, because we know our ranges, like what we
Yeah.
can do, and so it makes sense. Like I can tell him like go a little bit lower,
or do like
a
the
gargle
hardcore
there,
voice or tough guy.
Yeah. And this is stuff you guys just learn over time.
Yeah, we just work
Yeah.
really well together.
Yeah.
But yeah, melody is super important to me. I know like Marcus has said this a million times. He doesn't like care about lyrics or anything. I think lyrics and melody are really important
I agree.
because like metal is a very storytelling genre.
Almost all music should be.
And I think that the vocal melodies are super important because I do listen to that. And like how the vocals integrate and just like what they're doing.
Yeah, they
like,
gotta
man,
be
that sounds
catchy.
cool. Right. Maybe not necessarily the lyrics, but like he does write good lyrics. Like I could not write the lyrics. And I think that does come
Oh,
up
I'd
some
be
really
terrible
cool
at that.
stuff.
I'd have to
Yeah.
chat GPT.
I like our lyrics.
Well, this has been a much different album for me too. It's a lot of personal stuff, which, you know, I think it came from the pandemic stuff too, just like feeling like the world's ending.
Yeah.
And I wrote a lot of, like, I've never written like personal stuff before. Like, that first EP was all stereotypical deathcore bullshit.
We were angsty teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
That's what it
but
is.
these songs, like a couple of them are really personal. And that I think that adds to it too. I think you can tell in the performance when you mean it
Yeah.
and when you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, other people might not be able to, but I think I can tell a little bit of a difference.
No, yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for you guys to hear some of the stuff that I'm putting out because this is the reason why I'm not going back and changing any of the vocals because I'm using so much shit, which Marcus and I talked about it afterwards, but my laptop was like, and it was taking like 10 minutes to respond or whatever. So I finished the last bit of vocals, and a lot of it I'll have the lyrics written, but then how I'm going to sing it changes, or maybe I'll add in different words or stuff like on the spot, or I'll try a different vocal technique on the spot or a different character or whatever I'm doing. And there's this anthem that I ended up coming up with on one of these songs.
I think you talked about this the other day, actually. I remember you mentioned this.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. Yeah. But once I wrote it, I was like, dang, now I want to expand this part and just say this over and over and over and over and over. But I'm like, well, maybe we'll save it for live, you know, if I ever play those live, which I probably won't.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's something too to like stupid lyrics. Like, I don't really care that much. Like Dying Fetus.
Yeah, it's
It's all just about like
gruesome
murder
stuff.
and you know, brutality and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Dying Fetus is awesome.
yeah.
But also, like, I really like storytelling.
Yeah.
It's really important. That's why I like the Wonder Years so much too. Like every song he sings is a whole story,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
That's great. Yeah.
We also don't mind being silly too. Like I remember the last album, you didn't have
Tanner
lyrics.
doesn't like to be silly.
You didn't have lyrics for a part, and I was like, I pulled a Rick Rubin. I was like, here, grab this. It was a statistics book, and I was like, just
Yeah, there are
It's like just
lyrics.
the Rick.
I was like, just open to a random page. So he's screaming about unbiased estimators.
There are
and
lyrics
it's
on the
actually
album
a really good
just
part.
out of a textbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Do you
pulled
know-
it. We
do
pulled
you
it.
remember what those are?
Yes, it's in Blood Rust. I'll let.
Yeah, it's unbiased estimators of all something. I can't remember
That makes
exactly.
no
Tanner,
sense.
why do you care if you don't like
Like,
listen to the lyrics?
Because I had to sit here and watch him record it, and I like his. I paid attention to his lyrics because I mean, it's we're all sticking our name on it. Like I wanted to understand what we're doing, you know.
Yeah.
And I think the patterns
Unbiased
he comes with.
estimators of their respective parameters.
Yeah.
It sounds cool.
It sounds
like
cool.
because it's like I feel like another thing that's nice is when me and you record, like we're kind of tag teaming it where you have an idea and then I'm hearing it for the first time. I'm like, oh, this would be cool. Like do this vocal here, or let's add this, or like maybe switch this up a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Well,
That's
you
why it's
got
cool to
an
do
ear.
that in the room together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one thing we all
Yeah.
do together
Yeah.
is the vocals.
That's
like
why
the most important part.
I've
If the
told
vocals
Marcus-
aren't good, it's gonna suck.
And I think most people largely like as much as I like all my riffs and stuff, I know most people don't really care, and they're mostly listening to like the lyrics
Yeah.
and the vocals.
And the
Because I mean
bass.
that's what you're. I think it's what like the human ear like is attracted to, because like that's the human part. You know, that's what sound like. That's a human making that noise. So I think most people that's their biggest concern.
But with Seth, it sounds like Satan.
Hell yeah, dog.
Yeah. Your vocals do sound crazy.
Thank you. They actually like. I had to learn how to do vocals again.
I didn't
Yeah.
practice them ever. Yeah.
Because when we decided to do this, like, oh man, can I even do it still? And like for a couple of days, no, I could not.
Yeah, I had to,
I couldn't figure out how to get the sounds out again.
Yeah.
It took a while.
No, my range had definitely like shrunk, and I would get hoarse really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get hoarse super quick. I got like one take in me, one song. After that, my voice has changed, and if I'm recording, then I need to do something else.
I usually don't get hoarse anymore. I'm very hoarse today.
Yeah.
Because I was like on this
Doing
song we
weird
just
stuff.
did, I was just like doing some yelling, which
Yeah.
I never usually do.
yeah, we weren't horsing around.
Yeah. And my throat's pretty fried right now.
Yeah.
But usually it's fine.
I know usually go home talk and it's no big deal. 'Cause I mean, like it's not really that it's loud, but you're not really like I don't think
God,
we're
his-
screaming much louder than our speaking voice normally.
I don't know. I had to.
I think mine is
those
loud.
Those tough guy vocals were loud
that's
as
different,
fuck.
though.
Yeah, those are
Right.
loud.
I was
That's
like,
different,
God,
yeah.
Lord.
That's a different beast.
So Marcus, when you have ideas, is it just for his vocals? it's just because you know his vocals so well at this point that you're kind of like, oh, this would be the way you do this would be cool here because I know how you sound. Like almost as if you were writing lyrics for somebody that you know. You know, some people write lyrics for people.
That's just his producer brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to like think of like the song. I'm like, oh, this part would. Part of it's like a mixing thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna want more like width here. Like if it's a big open part, or if it's like a tight section, like we just kind of keep it just a single vocal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just whatever the song is calling for, and like what
I think part of it is that he knows my different vocals.
Yeah.
Which helps.
Yeah.
Because he knows
It's not
what
like-
sound he can make.
Yeah, it's not like he's a random producer trying to tell me, can you try to sound like this? And
Yeah.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He can just tell me, do this scream that you do.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
It also helps that like the recording process is really easy because I'm very used to, like when I went to school for music, I'm very used to playing to a metronome.
Mm-hmm.
So the recording process itself is super easy. I can stay on beat very well,
that
which a
is-
lot of people, like a lot of vocalists can't.
Yeah, that
They got no rhythm.
So it's pretty quick.
Yeah. Do you think going to music school was good? You know.
I think it was a huge waste of time and money. Yes.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
you didn't come out with any knowledge that helps you now? Or
No,
I
zero.
mean, he can play euphonium like super good.
Yeah, I can play an instrument that no one cares about.
Oh.
But I mean,
Put it on the album.
I think theory wise,
we could. Yeah.
I know a lot,
Yeah.
which helps.
But do you use it at all?
I use it in stuff I write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just having a musical background in general is
Because we were all in
great.
band together, like marching
like-
band, you know.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of people that are making music, they're basing it off feel. Like they weren't like professionally taught by someone. They're just which I mean,
Well,
some
even
people,
being in marching band, I teaches you how to stay on beat.
yeah,
Yeah.
Which I
That's
mean,
a
some
big part
people
of it.
never get it still, but for the most part, like we can all keep a tempo because we've done it for a million times.
Yeah.
Well, especially for, like what we were saying, play to a click. Like it's so good to be able to just like lock into the tempo for sure.
Yeah. Any other surprises you guys got coming out?
I
You're
mean,
gonna
no.
release this new single before the EP and the album?
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
what we're.
I mean, it's
No, we're gonna release
it's
it
in
after
Marcus's
the album.
it's in Marcus's hands now.
No.
I say,
Okay.
we've done our parts. Now it's up to Marcus.
Yeah.
And so,
He'll give us a test mix that we'll complain about, and he'll say, "I've barely done anything to it. Shut up."
and I'll tell him he should just use my guitar tone, but he doesn't want to use my guitar tone for this.
Yeah.
And with this stuff, I'm pretty particular about it. But like with this, it's so out of the norm for us.
Yeah,
that's
we're all
like,
just like trying stuff.
let's just try it. Right.
All you need for this is just the most gain possible.
right. Just nasty.
Yeah.
Just disgusting
So
guitar
this is a
tones.
song that you wrote?
Yeah,
Yes.
Seth wrote it,
Yeah.
and I doubled it up a little bit, but it's mostly. I don't think I actually wrote anything. Like I only edited the stuff that he had given already. Like I cut some stuff out and switched some stuff around. But aside from that, it's he wrote all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. From what I heard, because I got a sneak peek, it did sound different, and I
Super.
said more
Yeah.
slammy.
Right.
Yeah.
Super slammy
Well,
comparatively.
some of the slam stuff I wrote is some like straight slam stuff, but a lot of like abominable putridity.
Mhm.
There's like kind of weird chromatic riffs
Right.
that I really like.
yeah, I love it. It's catchy.
So you guys trying to do anything with this, or just do it for fun still? I mean, obviously, it's almost lame to say, "Oh, I want to have it," at least break even or something.
Well, that's the
kinda
thing. We don't pay
but-
anything, so
Yeah.
we don't have
Yeah,
to
anything we
much.
make is
Yeah.
Just our
profit.
blood, sweat,
Right.
and tears.
We don't.
Blood, sweat,
Yeah,
and
it's just the
tears, yeah.
time. No, I mean, like we're all old. We have careers. Like we're not trying to like be a big band. Like I just want people to listen to the music, and if they dig it, that's cool.
And even if they don't, it's fun to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm having a good time.
Are
So
you having a fun time posting the Instagram
Yeah,
stuff
it's cool.
and whatnot?
It's cool just to like show it and like let people see it because I know like so many people just like that's how people consume media, like Marcus said. And so if that's a way for more people to see it, and like I don't, I enjoy doing it. It's kind of fun little projects.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, that's the goal is to have people hear it, but we're not trying to get famous. And like especially with this kind of music, like we know we're not
Yeah.
gonna get famous. Like we're not gonna blow up.
Yeah.
And like that's fine.
Well,
Like, we're not-
that's the thing.
But if it does, see you guys later.
you know who he's talking to. If you know, you know.
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. Yeah, it'd be crazy.
yeah, I just want like I want to release a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
Different like slightly different genre stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the stuff he's written too, that like for the actual like ATR album, it's still a lot different than anything else we've written.
I think
Yeah.
all our albums are so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
It's more fun that way.
I've never written a single song. I've just put my
2 cents on it.
I've just touched it a little bit.
Yeah, that's the part I'm kind of torn on because I'm like, after this EP comes out, because I sat on it for so long, and part of it's I'm lazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, do I want to just do singles for a while until I have an album, or just to put
and that
something
works.
out
I think
there?
a lot of people do that. They just do single after single after single.
Well,
I'm,
they're
I'm
doing
sure.
it now.
I'm sure we're gonna do a lot of singles too. 'Cause we
think-
just
yeah.
have so many things.
Yeah,
and
but
it's so easy for us.
I don't want to lose. Yeah, I mean, I could pop out a song probably pretty easy now at this point. But to do a whole album or EP,
I feel like that's-
I take more time with it.
I feel like most of the singles that come out, it's either like a one-off random thing, or if it's generally like a little teaser for it's
what's
generally going to be
coming
on an album
Right.
in the future.
Yeah.
'Cause, like for pretty much all genres, like pop, dubstep,
Do pop even
Metal.
come out with albums anymore? Or they just all
Oh, yeah.
I think so. I think they still do.
yeah, rap, like full,
And especially, I think there is some like
Kanye released an album that has 30 something songs
I
on
think
it.
for like pop artists where they're going to record, so like it makes sense for them to do an album, have like a batch, like here we're gonna do these 10 songs, and then release it together.
Yeah,
Probably the label wants at the end of the day.
yeah. More content for people to consume.
No, I think we're all going to try to just put out more stuff,
Yeah.
just so more people can see it, and like even if the mix isn't like what it's going to be in the future, like whatever, like it's still the song.
Yeah.
That's
We'll
what I
still hear
think.
it.
I'm just gonna make something. Send Marcus, be like, hey, maybe I did the drums, maybe I didn't. Let's pop this out there just so I can get it out.
Yeah, it's fun to
Over
just.
That's what we were talking about with this single. Like just get something good enough,
and I'm
then
getting more
we'll do it.
practice that way. The part, and especially the part about doing a solo project, is I'm the vocalist, I'm the drummer, or if I make the drums, I'm the drummer. I'm the bass player and the
you're
guitar
that guy.
players. I'm that guy, and then I'm also the fucking social media manager, the producer. Luckily I have Marcus to help me out when I send him something, and I let him have full reign over changing anything, producing it however he wants. And although he's the only one I've ever really worked with, it's like, okay, he's showing me what it's really like.
He's easy to work with.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it, and I liked his ideas. Like in that, he added a bunch of monkey sound, and I was like, dude, that's fucking awesome. And I never thought about
There
it.
was the take of you like hyping yourself up.
Yeah, that was
like-
actually just me, because that's the thing is like
Like if you sent that to someone to mix, they would just scrap that because it's
Right.
like it's not part of the actual vocal.
song,
But I was like,
it was just me like,
I'm
okay,
keeping
okay,
that.
getting hyped.
Well, that's the good thing. Like Marcus keeps everything.
He does. He keeps
Yeah.
every take.
There's a lot of blooper reels of me
You gotta
saved
know.
on a computer.
You got to watch the mic because he's
Oh,
getting
I've
it
heard
all.
them. I've heard some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. You should just release
Those are the-
that as like a bonus track.
Those are the best moments, like when something silly happens and you just keep it like you said, at the end of a take, and it just went on beat so nicely, and now we're gonna find a sample to stick
It
in there.
works.
Yeah,
So
that's nice. You guys got anything else to tell me? I think we've talked about a lot already.
Yeah, I mean, just keep out for this single whenever, we're just going to toss it out there whenever we get it close enough. And then I don't know if we have any timeline of when we're going to do this next album, but like, we're definitely just going
Set a deadline, bro. Do it now on live. Do it live.
to in the next year.
Yeah,
Just
probably
'cause
in the
we've
next
got
year.
it written. We've got it done. We're probably going to try to get the vocals tracked. And then, if we see somebody that will drum for it, we'll do that and get them done.
how about June 6th, 2026?
That's pretty soon.
Actually, how about June?
26
how
next
about-
year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, next year.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do that.
Do my EP first,
or
Marcus.
June 6th, 2066.
That'll probably be one that
I
comes
hope
out
I'm still
during
riffing by then.
Yeah.
I hope I'm still at it.
then.
Yeah, I think sometime next year for sure.
Yeah.
And probably like 3 or 4 singles before then.
Where do you guys want people to check your music out, or your Instagram page, or what's it called
I mean,
again?
all those, yeah. Awaken the Revenant. It's all up on Bandcamp, and you can download it for free. I've always wanted to just give the music away. Like, we're not trying to make money, so you can get on there, download
That's
it
the
for
best.
free.
That's the best quality.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
the best
Is
quality.
it really? Why?
It's just
'Cause-
straight from whatever came out of his computer.
Yeah, it's like my.
It's not
They
downgraded
don't-
at all.
They
Yeah.
don't. What's it called? They.
It's a WAV file. Or you
yeah.
can get an MP3. You can get it's just the best quality. But yeah, get it
That's
off
the
our
that's the
Bandcamp.
that's the nerdy place to get it. But if you
But it's
just
on Spotify. It's on Apple
yeah,
Music. It's on
all the streaming.
all the services. But yeah, just get it, check it out, give it to people. Like I've always wanted to give away our music, and so we've done that for the past long time. It's all just been up for free. If
You
wanna
could
download it,
you could buy it for $8,000 if you want.
give us a buck. A lot.
That'd
I
be
do
cool.
find that heartwarming. A lot of people will just toss $1, which
Yeah.
is cool because I'll do that.
That is nice.
If I'm getting an album off Bandcamp and they have it up for free, I'll just cost them a couple bucks if I like it. Because why
Yeah.
not? You know.
Yeah, why
Also,
not?
just go to local shows.
Yeah. Go to
Yeah.
shows. We'll be there hanging out.
Yeah, and just buy merch
Yeah.
from bands.
Always, I try to always buy merch, especially from out of town bands.
Yes.
Anytime
Yeah.
I'm at a show, buy it from the out of town bands. Don't buy it from us if we have it for sale. Buy it
Yeah.
from people that are driving to drive.
And if they have nothing you want, give them $5.
I did
Just,
that
just give them something.
Yeah.
when we saw Peeling Flesh. They didn't have any merch. I was like, here's $20.
Yeah, because they're working hard. So
Yeah.
just give them something.
Yeah,
Hell
buy
yeah.
people's merch
That's good advice, guys.
for sure.
And I think with that, we're out of here. Marcus, It's your studio. Oh, but yeah. By the way, we're in Marcus Stone Studios today. You calling it something different now,
Stone
or
Studios? We changed that?
Mix Master Suites.
Mixed Master Suites? Yeah, different location.
That's what you call it,
Yeah.
right?
Well, he is the mix master.
He
Yeah.
is. He truly is.
Marcus, are you putting yourself out there to mix and master anybody, or
I mean, if you want to hit me up via
how they hitting you up now? You're not on anything.
You can just message the band.
yeah,
We'll get
just
it to him.
Just find me. I'm
Yeah,
on,
yeah. Message the band and Marcus. They'll get it to Marcus.
yeah.
'cause he's not
Talk to
on.
my manager.
Talk to his manager. Marcus is really great at mixing and mastering. I think you have a website still up that has like portfolio.
Nah.
No, you took it down.
I've never seen that.
Well, if you want to listen to some of the stuff that Marcus has mixed and mastered, you got my stuff to go check out. Empty Smiles EP, just Derek Mitchell. You got all your stuff that you guys have done.
Nope.
Anybody else, Marcus?
Dividends from a while ago. They're like I don't even know how you would describe them, like a folky alternative type of band. I've done everything: heavy music, non-heavy music,
Electronic stuff.
Yeah, electronic
A lot of
stuff.
electronic stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, Marcus is doing his own. We'll have a separate podcast for this, but Marcus is doing his own EDM thing. Shout out, jacked to death. But I think with that, we're out of here, guys. So later.